We intend to offend. We will offend. And if you have a delicate sensibility, click the X button in the corner, or if you're on a Mac, the red button in the left corner. Monty, welcome to the show of offending people.
Well, it never happened, and I make shit up. So for the last couple of weeks, everyone that has asked for a reading, apparently you're all from Scotland, from Hurley in Scotland. You all live the same lives. It's very metaphysical, because we're all one. And I can't read the Akashic Records. I don't even have a card.
Meow. Welcome, everyone, to another adventure into comedy. I'm once again joined by my comical co-host and my second comical co-host, Monty Dean and Bruce McDonald.
I'll have a C, thank you, Andrew. I feel like I'm playing a Wheel of Fortune.
Yes, you're the next contestant on the Wheel of Comedy.
I'll take C. That's 17. Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding, ding. You are now Q-tard.
Oh, language.
You said 17. Oh, therefore, all the conspiracy wheels are turning. Once again, everyone. Yes. If you are a person with a serious stick so far up your ass that's coming out of your mouth, this is not a show for you. If you want to ask about baby raping lizard wizards, this is not the show for you. If you want to have your Akashic record reading, this is not the show for you. If you want to know what your fucking purpose is, this is not the show for you. This is a comedy show where we do 2+ hours, and it's not joke, deliver, walk. We talk, we have fun, we take the piss out of subjects, we engage the crowd in the chat room, we swear at each other like drunken sailors, we have callers come on the line. Now, if you are listening on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or anywhere else, and want to be in the Zoom room where we look at the chat room and want to be a caller in today's later show, you must be in the Zoom room. Our mystical producer, Robert, has waved his magic wand and put information on the screen. This is all you have to do is to go to zoom.us, put in the meeting ID number 911-001-1974, the passcode 457-500. Now, if you want to dial in via phone, you can do that too. All that information is there for you on the screen. Now, yes, I just recently had a birthday, and from now on, I will be celebrating the anniversary of my 47th birthday. I no longer grow older after this point. So next year will be the second anniversary of my 47th birthday, and so on and so forth. Now, this comes from my wonderful grandmother, who was born in 1916. She's passed now, but she actually got the driver's license bureau when she was in her 70s to reduce her age by 10 years till she was 60s by saying, you have my age wrong, when she went to go reduce her license. And then it went to this, she was in church and everyone asked her how old she was. She would never tell anyone her right age. So I have taken it upon this process where I am no longer growing older. I'm forever 47. And I want to thank everyone that gave me happy birthday wishes. Yes, March the 23rd was my birthday.
Yeah, my birthday was the 8th of March, International Women's Day. Yes, I know I'm a gift to women. God's gift to women, because that's when, strangely enough, in 1974, my birthday was actually on a full moon. So the solar calendar is the 8th of March, but the lunar calendar is the first full moon after Chinese New Year. So just a way of spreading out the birthday celebrations. So it's from the full moon to the 8th. Sometimes it's a day, sometimes it's a week and a half.
And then sometimes you just need to no longer age anymore like I am. I'm forever 47.
Well, yeah. I shared a meme like my mind believes it's got the body of a 25-year-old, and my body thinks my mind's an idiot.
Yes. What the hell are you gonna do with that 25-year-old? Your back hurts already.
Yeah.
Come on, she's keeping you up all night.
Yeah.
You can't be a memosaurus.
Well, that's the thing as well, where like the consciousness, it feels like it's got the the mentality of a very wise 25-year-old, and the body's like, well, not exactly 25.
Exactly. Hack.
Yeah, I'll just stand up. Oh, my knees. So yeah,
Bruce, at what age did you start making old man noises?
I don't yet.
It's all right. I was like 27 making old man noises.
I don't have any old man characteristics yet.
Noises though, not characteristics.
What? Give me an example.
Every man has an old man. Every kid.
Like when you get up from a couch.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't do that. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't have any old man noises.
No,
all we gotta do is ask your wife. She's like, yes, he does. Every man has.
It's gotta be true to be funny, Monty. I'm gonna stay with the golden rule and wait for the big laugh.
You and your Garden of Eden.
Come on, random proverbs that come out of you. Come on, those are old man lines too.
Back in my day.
Exactly.
No, I don't. People don't really make old man noises up here. I mean, there's guys on this mountain who are 70 years old who could bury me in a day's work with a machete.
I guarantee you those guys make old man noises.
Yeah, but when they get out of bed, or
when they're drinking, maybe.
Yeah, when they're drinking.
But I'll give you an example of an old man noise. I saw George Carlin live in the 70s. That's kind of old man. It's not a body falling apart. You're just showing yourself where you are on the timeline.
I saw the 730 Words concert live at the Ottawa Civic Center. The National Arts Center in Ottawa. About a 3,000 person crowd. I was 12 or 13, I can't remember. And my dad and I went. And it was funny. And I got it.
The 7 words you could never use on television.
Yeah. Okay, there's people out on the balcony. I'm about to hear it. Like it's going to be like aliens landed here when they go to use their phones. It's going to be that mysterious and strange.
It's interesting. Bruce and I were doing a roundtable yesterday talking about comedy, and the question of like, so when did comedy die? And we think around about 2010, 2012.
No, we talked about this last show. Comedy died in 2006.
Oh, okay. Because
comedy, that's when Bush got a second term.
No, well, yeah.
It's halfway through his second term, yeah. It's the second term Bush.
Well, being in Australia, it took a while to come out here because there was still funny stuff then, but now it's extremely hard to find.
Right. Cancel culture, all that shit began.
Yeah, like the Animaniacs. I'm watching the new series, and there's a whole episode about
you know what I know they don't have?
Huh?
You know what I know for sure they don't have anywhere on the international market, legitimate or black market? They don't have any bootleg copies of recordings of good Moscow comics in 1972.
No.
Did they even have recording machines in Moscow then?
Funny.
You sure it wasn't just done by paper?
The Stasi did, and Stalin did, and like I'm not sure about the general public, but the KGB, they definitely had recording devices. They're in your vase, they're in the light, they're tapping your phone.
Have we tripped onto something here? Our free and funny first cousins.
Say that again. You broke up.
Have we tripped onto something here? Our free and funny first cousins.
We have tripped up onto something here.
Yeah, free and funny are first cousins.
Yes, free and funny are our first cousins. Now we're at a point where we're going to ramp up our comical hour, and we're going to pick something to take the piss out of. Now, since I enjoy beating up the Q-tards, today is April the 2nd. Nothing happened. Nothing happened yesterday. So
what was supposed to happen?
Trump was supposed to take back office, and the aliens were supposed to come down. The currency was supposed to reevaluate, and everything was hunky-dory. The lizards get kicked out. Now, is there a Q-tardian in the audience?
a brave Q-tard. Yeah, one.
No, Sarah.
Exactly.
I like
Okay.
Andrew. Nothing happened. Excuse me. Our Lord and Savior died allegedly. Why do they call it Good Friday? Wouldn't horrific Friday be a better term for the death of Christ? Just putting it out there.
Right. Now, since there are no brave Cutardians here, I know that there is a recovering Cutardian in the audience. Okay?
Hello, my name's Stephen. I used to be a Q-tard.
Now, I simply want somebody who maybe follows the Cutardian every now and then, or is in recovering Cutardian. What was supposed to happen yesterday? Just a quick type. Okay? And who has been following Juan O'Staven?
Is that like a food vendor in Guatemala? Juan
ashamed.
O'Staven, you come to me, you save many pesos.
I'm ashamed to admit I read his book.
Oh, you read his book? Oh boy,
Did at the
Bruce.
side of the road, yeah.
Ooh.
I did it on the air and I quit it about 2/3 of the way through because I figured out what was going on. So it was like a live epiphany. I'm stopping now. Like, yeah, that's and there's a bunch of creepy characters out there now that are very unaccountable for their actions,
Right.
like Simon Parks, and was clearly an MI6 asset, right? I mean, or MI6 or Mossad are really the same thing.
No, they'd never keep the Mossad and CIA and MI6 would never keep somebody like Parks. No, they'd never keep him. He's doing this all on his own with fucking zealot people who believe whatever he says. I've had the skinny from behind the scenes from his former producer who kicked him off the air after years of being his producer, JP. If anybody knows who that is, who then made a public statement about Mr. Parks.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that. That JP gets around, eh?
Well, he did.
Different
like
JP.
He's like the tomcat that knocked up my 3 females here.
Yeah, like JP took him right to task and put out all his bullshit right out there.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are still following him, it's because it's the zealots who will believe what is that, whatever the next conspiracy over the rainbow is.
Is that short?
But seriously, folks, all joking aside, this cat shit's getting out of hand. If you want one and you're willing to pay for pet transport by FedEx, look me up.
McDonald pussies, straight to you.
Talamanca kittens for you. I'll sign them.
In blood. So the whole zealots and stuff, is that like basically they're trying to find an answer in reality, and their belief engine is running out of gas, and they'll accept anything except for reason, logic.
As the dumb look on my face, I can't explain it anymore.
Yeah. All right. We'll say that's a starting point, and then it goes into I don't know.
So the thing I've noticed, Monty, is the last thing people want to do, especially people in the free world, is disconnect from all the bullshit and actually go live their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is so plugged into something now. It's one or the other. It's either the left's extremism or moderate extremism. There's very few people just in the center now. Like there's me and Steve Martin.
Right. Now, what I've also been noticing is parallel to the Cutardian movement, there was the Save the Children movement. And now all these people who put their life behind the Save the Children alienated their friends, their family, alienated their businesses, and they have nothing to show. And I see in the comments all the time, Trump saved all those children. Where are they? Where are the kids? Supposedly 10.5 million kids were saved by Trump. Where are they?
So Jeffrey Epstein was killed in a jail that held El Chapo, and it appears as though the case against Ghislaine Maxwell is falling apart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should be done by Biden's end of Biden's first year. She'll be released secretly.
Yeah. Yeah. So nothing was accomplished there. Hey, we got that Novixium guy though. He was a bit creepy. Yay!
Yeah, that dude was high up. They definitely got his ass.
Oh, top of the pyramid there.
Yeah, top of the pyramid, top of the penis pyramid. Exactly. Now, just to finish saying what I was saying about the Save the Children, the Cutardians, and all the other people that believe something is going to save you tomorrow. Now, I know I have an educated audience, and there will be people coming that listening in. I held you in the highest regard until you said Cutard or you said this. I don't give a flying fuck what you think. Okay? I don't give a flying fuck what you think. Why? Because you have reached a point where everything for you is charge and polarity, and you have no capacity to converse, debate, talk, or just simply be present without you spewing your bullshit. That is a person who has been brainwashed. And now we have millions of them who are going to be going through the 5 stages of grief, particularly the Save the Children people. Now, I have been watching hosts, people who have shows, thousands of people watching their shows all the time, full on breaking down in tears because the Save the Children's not a movement anymore. I know I'm being serious on a comedy show here, but I'm saying it for a reason. We need to start, like at the end of 911, we need to start attacking comically the Cutardians, the Save the Children groups. All of them need to be hit by comedy.
If I may add as well, there are actual people trying to stop child trafficking, and they're based in truth, where they're actually going in and they're getting funding. You know the difference because they don't spew the whole thing of like
baby raping wizards.
Yeah, JFK Jr. is being resurrected and he's going to save the world. It's more of like we've discovered that in this town that there is a compound and there's actually children there, and we went in and saved them, and here are the children. And so there are actually on the planet there are people trying to save children, but they actually do it. Not the there's tunnels everywhere and it's full of children and we've never seen before again. And someone in chat said, like, are they saving them for later?
Yes, they're saving them for later.
Yeah.
Now that I've made that bold statement just after 911, the comedians have to start making jokes on that stuff. We got to do it, gentlemen and ladies out there. We got to be willing to go after that level of arrogance and ignorance, poke fun at it. Are we attacking them by doing that? Well, they're always going to perceive everything as an attack because they're living in adrenal glands. We could blink at them the wrong way and they're still saying you're psychically attacking me. I'm blinking, bitch. I'm psychically attacking you through my blinking. Okay? No.
Why aren't these people helping? Sorry, interrupt, Andrew. Why aren't these people helping out the actual children in the cages that Biden and Obama built on the border, where they're 700% over capacity?
Yeah, you want to help children? Send me some beef.
Exactly. He's got a whole bunch of kids up.
No middleman. Everything you donate goes right to the stomach of a nephew.
Yes, he's got like 100 of them.
He's collecting them all.
Like garbage pail kids.
Yep. Only 3 to go and we've got the set.
Now, the dark shit that is out there is out there. Everything has been disclosed. Everything has been disclosed. There isn't anything going on up in the outer realms that hasn't been talked about here. We've lifted every stone, turned over every tissue to see what's underneath it, and we've got an idea. Now we've got to start hammering comedy on it. Start taking the piss out of it, breaking the serious factors to it. And that's not to go and directly attack those people there, because again, they've got to go through their own 5 stages of grief in their own presence in their own time.
Well, I thought
we as this modern community have to be willing to say no more.
I thought it was 7 stages of grief. Budget cuts even got to them. Like, have they cut 2 out? Or am I in a different timeline?
You're in a different timeline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's fun when you find that out. Like, wait, there's 5 now? I mean, I always thought there was 5 village people. Apparently there's 6.
What?
It must be a Mandela effect.
Yeah, there's an army guy. And also the Traveling Wilburys, you know, that super group from the late 80s. Bob
Yeah.
Dylan was in it. I'm like, not in
He
my
always
timeline,
was.
thank you very much.
No, he always was.
Time traveling.
It is 5 stages, but it's 7 stages for a death.
Okay.
So the 7 stages for death: shock and denial, pain and guilt, anger and bargaining, depression, the upward turn, reconstruction and working through, acceptance and hope. That's for death. And denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Yep.
Okay.
So they're all essentially the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. You have to process.
Yes, you have to process. Now, all the Wano Saven followers, so he's going to come on the radio in the next 4 or 5 days, and he's going to give everyone another line of bullshit. I want each and every one in this person in this chat room right now to think of the most stingiest line you can type back into a post on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or anywhere else, knowing damn well that they're going to continue this shit. I want you to go into the deepest, darkest depths of your comedy and reach out and pull out a rusty, sharp nail and slam it into the movement
I've got
that's
one.
coming.
The Alpha Centaurians have joined the Alliance, and now so they're holding off so they can actually prepare, and then there will be a bigger push on June 3rd.
That was back in June. They said that.
Oh, well, I couldn't
Alpha
think of
Centaurians are a big part of Galactic Federation, and those idiots there.
Okay, we'll just pick an alien race that aren't part of I just picked the Centurions.
No. Let's do a Satan line. How would Satan respond to a Q-Tardian?
Good.
I'd be very pleased, I think.
No, I don't want you in my hell. I'm gonna dumb it down.
Here's your T-shirt and cap. Well done.
Exactly. Go to heaven now.
So
go dumb down heaven.
Let's break this topic out a little bit. Why do they do it? Is it just the attention? Is it just the clearly they don't believe what they're saying. I don't believe Wano Savin believes what he's saying.
I do. I think he believes every word he's saying.
I think the followers are looking for hope, but the people who are talking about it love the attention.
So one other thing about Wano Savin, as soon as his interview ends, he doesn't believe in anything he says. But in the moment that he's talking, he is a very practiced speaker who has been well trained in how to public speak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in the moment, he believes everything he's saying.
Sounds like multiple personality disorder.
Yeah.
Or an operative who's been trained to publicly speak with neurolinguistic programming, who is meant to be running the next PSYOP. Confidence man. Thank you, Danny.
Yeah.
With hypnotic induction lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's hoping, he's providing false hope. And it's just like we've mentioned this multiple times, and Andrew, I coined it kicking the can down the road. Obviously not the saying, but the use of the saying. And that's all they're doing, where, oh no, it's the 6th of January. Now it's the 20th of January. Then it's the 1st of March. And then it's, oh no, it's the 1st of April. And they're going, oh, see, the Constitution says this. It's like, as I said, the man with a stick doesn't care about your piece of paper.
Right. So the actual dates were the 6th of January, the 20th of January, February the 14th, March the 1st, March the 7th, April the 1st. Okay. Yeah. That's the order in which they told you shit was going to happen. Okay.
Yeah. Part of my journey through whatever's going on, let's just say it that way, is there's a learning experience from dates and kicking it down the road, where the end of the, even the late 1800s, I think it's called the Great Disappointment, where they said that revelation will happen in 1848, and hundreds of thousands. Sorry?
Nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing happened, but 100,000 people sold up everything and they went out to Utah and then nothing happened. Like, oh.
Yeah, but that was just a big Mormon marketing campaign.
Yes, and it's like because I started this journey like 2006 when a free-to-air channel here in Australia showed a documentary called In Plain Sight, plane as an aeroplane, not the other plane. And it was just asking questions. It wasn't saying, "Oh, these, the Jews did it," or whatever, blah 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 blah. It's like just asking questions, and I'm like, I had owned the Blu-ray. I just found it fascinating, and it actually says on the packaging, shown on Channel 10. It's fascinating that somehow slipped through. But ever since then, I discovered Alex Jones and then David Icke, the classic step up. And it led me to you. There you go. And the learning experience of dates where they come and go with everything. The Q-tards, as you call them, they're experiencing it in quick flash or quick time, the quickening, because it's been 6 or 7 dates you said just this year, and we're only in the 4th month, and so
seventh date.
Yeah, 7. But instead of like I mentioned it on my roundtables that people are waking up at warp speed now compared to a lot of old schoolers that took like a decade or even more, depending who you talk to.
But what does waking up really look like? Because there's woke, then there's awoke just via Facebook, and then there's awoke, and I've done some research, but I don't give a flying fuck.
I've actually I can explain this, sir. That they're waking up to the corruption in the 3D, and it's fascinating because I know you and I know the information you put out, and I giggles like I've awakened to the corruption in 3D. Read Andrew, listen to Andrew's stuff because that's like 0.01% of the true awakening. You have so much more.
Exactly, you have so much more.
Can somebody get a memo down there to head office to let Alan Park in, who may appear as Alan John?
Robert, Alan John, could you send him a signal to unmute?
I don't know. Now an actual comedian's turning up. I feel.
Monty, come on now.
You're an actual comedian too, Monty. Come on.
Oh no. He earns money. That's the difference. I'm doing it for the love of the art.
Alan's in the room.
Alan.
It's all choppy.
I'm laughing already.
My connection is unstable. What else is new?
Yeah, 2021 and nothing works.
Can I be heard or not? Get a thumbs up from someone?
We hear you.
Yeah,
Yes,
we hear you.
All right. So what's going on, guys? You're talking about the Q-tards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you know about them? Do you know about them?
Yeah, sure. What about the date, though? I think you missed one, or wasn't it the constitutional change, 1871? So that was April 4th, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's April 2nd today. So that's the 8th one will be next week. Will be in 2 days from now.
So that's the grand total. But there is an office of Trump that opened up, and he just like, you know what I mean? Like he just did open an office. Did you not see that?
A real estate guy open an office? Wow.
No, but I'm just playing. I'm not bragging. I'm saying you had a thing where you were saying he's not going to open an office, and then he did. He opened an office. If you want to play with semantics, he's got a website called 45office.com. So then have you seen that? It's got a little seal there, and it looks like the president's thing and all that. So that's
right, because he's entitled as a former president to still use the seal so that he can do fundraising with it to the party.
I think he's also trolling. Yeah, I think he's also trolling Biden because remember when after the election and it took 63 days to get to he won, like yeah sure whatever, but Biden created the first office in the United States history of the office of the president-elect, and people with a brain are like, what the hell are you doing?
No, there is a constitutional provision for the offices of the president-elect already built into the Constitution, which allows them to get security briefings.
Yeah, I understand that because it's part of the transition, but they had a massive poster thing in the background, and yeah. Anyway,
So
I just
what?
like picking on an old man.
Trump used a Sharpie on a NOAA weather map. Big deal. Okay.
I'm just commenting on if he said, like, the rumors were that he's going to resume office by such and such a date. I would say loosely, fucking around with semantics, he has done that.
You can semantically put that. You can semantically place it. But if you go by what the hardcore Qtardians, he will retake office, become the president again, and be given a new oath in office.
Well, from what I understand, that he said that, and then everybody thought, yeah, that was going to happen on the 6th, or that was going to happen on the 20th, like you said. And then when it's not happening, then it became, the whole vibe sort of became, no. What I mean is I'm going to take office again when I win in 24 again, or when my daughter wins in 24, and then the movement. So this is not what these guys were all saying. That's not what they were all about at all.
No, not at all. Trump's just trying to save a future for himself where he doesn't get 10,000 indictments coming.
Yeah. And the other thing that you guys were talking about was, before I could get on, was talking about the Ghislaine Maxwell thing.
Yep.
So what do you think she's going to walk from that?
By the end of Biden's first year, she will walk privately, yes. Everything will fall apart around her.
And is that going to bring any kind of kickback or not?
Well, I'm sure there'll be some form of public kickback. I'm sure there'll be some but what's the news media going to do with it? Nothing. It's a story they can't talk about.
Yeah. I know. She's all friends with the guy who used to run CNN's wife, Jeff Zucker's wife. His good friends. I read that last year.
There's a lot that's connects Ghislaine Maxwell to a lot of very, very important people. Okay?
Yeah.
A lot.
So let's go to this. Like, you're talking about jokes. Well, I don't know where you guys are. I've been reading about this. If you get a vaccine, you can get a Krispy Kreme donut. You heard about this?
Yeah.
Enticement. This is a literal enticement. Like, I know Bruce just laughed because that would be an insult to Bruce. If I said, Bruce, I will give you this foreign substance of which I will not divulge the contents and inject it into your body, but I'm also going to give you this donut. And I'm saying, oh, Bruce is right into that. Like, no one that's smart is doing this. But I realize that it's offensive to some people.
Yeah.
Think about the people who do take the donut for it.
Yeah, I'm just
especially the CDC actually released the statistics of 80% of the people that got COVID or died were obese.
Yeah, that's right. They're obese. No, I thought the first thing was that to remedy the problem was first of all, you need a needle that's twice as long for the obese to get it all the way in there. I don't even know what
No, you just need to do rectal insertion.
Well, is that what it is? Okay, so because I was wondering, like, who's going to get the needles and make all? But I just think a lot of people don't want the donut. They still want some kind of health-based enticement rather than a donut. Like, I heard Johnson.
Get your vaccine passport.
Yeah, but you want some kind of Johnson and maybe you don't want to get a donut. I hear Johnson and Johnson is giving away free skin peel. So, maybe you're into getting a facial or something. So
you may get cancer. Yeah.
You get a situation like that, but it's really nuts how people are putting up little avatars on the Facebook and Instagram. I just got vaccinated. I'm double vaxxed and you're safe. You're welcome. Stuff like this, it's really a psyop. It's amazing how bad
it's got to the it's got to the level that people are putting it in their Tinder profile.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know, because if I was on Tinder, that's who to avoid. This is a cleaving. This is a cleaving. Like, whether you're for it or against it, as soon as someone marks themselves, then they have their followers and their avoiders. Yeah. Like, as soon as you see a girl on and she's got a mask on her, I just skip past the next one. I don't even want to talk to her. So, that's kind of where it's at now. The division is ugly. So how are you going to make that funny, Andrew?
Attack the division itself. both sides of the division, the
Mm-hmm.
idiots on both sides, and make the centrist not the butt of the left or right joke.
But
That's
who's
some
a
very,
centrist when it comes to vaccines? You're either getting the
very,
vaccine, you're not
a very,
getting the vaccine.
it's a very sober comedic stratagem. I'm all down.
So what's
But-
the middle ground with vaccine? I'm not taking the first generation of a 6-month warp speed vaccine. I'll wait
Oh,
to
you
the third or
anti-vax.
fourth or fifth generation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's middle ground. That kicks it down the can down the road a year, 2 years.
And people are saying, oh, they're trying to cull the population. And it's like, well, if these idiots are taking it, wouldn't humanity benefit that? Because they're we're clearing out the wheat from the shaft.
Or there's nothing wrong with the vaccines. It's not all the baby raping lizard wizard shit inside it. It's just cheap vaccines rushed to the market.
Well,
Like
yeah.
all the other issues with the vaccines, you don't give a kid 22 shots in 18 months. Okay?
Yeah.
You know, the size of a vaccine for an 80-year-old man and an 8-year-old kid is the same. There's no difference.
Yeah, it's lunacy.
Okay? It's because they don't want to do hormone testing on children before they give them vaccines. Because high hormone levels are going to mean a very high chance at an adverse reaction to it.
Yeah.
Okay? So it all comes down to money.
Yeah. Why? Are
Last
you
year-
saying the medical profession don't care?
Yes, they don't care.
Profit
Last-
versus humanity. Yeah.
with only like a month or two of panic going on last year when this was still new, like even before, 10 months, 11 months ago, they were saying how kids were not a factor with it. It wasn't a problem. Didn't mean it. It's okay. Whatever. In and out. They're not going to die. It's all right. And all of a sudden now they're testing the vaccine on babies. So like, wow. I
Right.
can't imagine being in a better game if you want a profit margin than vaccine.
Well, I mean, there's an idea of vaccinating children while they're still in the womb, and I'm like, that's not going to do any damage at all. And the same people also think that once the baby's born, it can still be aborted. Now, I'm no liar, but I think that's murder.
Yeah. That's just that's a weird one.
Especially when a congressman said it on public radio. It's like, wait, you're saying even if the baby's born and then you can abort it? Like, you sick fuck.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So guys, let's take an attempt at taking the piss out of the Q-Tardian next date gonna happen. Let's take a real comedian shot at it.
What is
Because
it?
you know they're going to give us another date and another date and another date. Let's come up with some one-liners. Or two-liners or 10-liners.
Well, by December, we'll have a really good world T-shirt, world tour T-shirt, just all the dates.
Yes, all the dates.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when the next. I don't know what the dates are. I don't know when they.
April
what-
4th and June 7th.
April 4th. That's the next one, right? April 4th.
And then
What's
June
that?
7th.
What's April 4th supposed to be?
That's the President's Day. Hold on, I'll look it up.
And then June 7th is another one.
Yep.
But nothing can stop what is happening is the catchphrase, except for the daily flipping of the calendar pages. That's the only thing that can stop
Yeah.
what's happening.
Yeah.
So while you're looking that up, you don't think it's strange though? Like all I got on this is it's completely strange, and I don't even know what the odds are. This triple evergreen logjam of things moving around the world, like the big one, the airplane that refuels them, and the truck on the highway. All of those jackknifing into positions where no flow can happen and like most people never even heard of evergreen before unless they watch Dexter. So I don't know how that can all go on at the same week. I don't know what that is, but I do know that's a perfectly excellent what would I call it? Proof. You could use the word proof for Q activity, even though there's no proof, even though you can't see anything, even though you don't know if it's stuck or unstuck or loaded or unloaded. But they're saying that because this evergreen, log jam, that's the Q patrol doing its thing.
Do you know what evergreen means in marketing terminology?
I used to know. No, it means you can use it anytime.
It means you make money on a product forever. It's ever producing green money. As soon as you
Siempre verde.
put a video up with an email funnel behind it, it's a cash cow.
Yeah, so that was probably a colloquial for the commodities market when markets first formed.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And conspiracy is its own commodities market because those guys spend a lot of money on their conspiracy shit.
Yeah, yeah, and for the most part, it's a worthwhile investment. I mean, they are making money, right? I mean, it's ridiculous, you know. It's captivating, though. I have to admit, there was a brief period of time for like it might have lasted 90 days where I was like, is JFK really alive? You know, and
Wano Savian is the one that's saying he's actually JFK, but denies when you actually ask it, but implies that he's JFK Jr.
I did not know that. Yeah.
Who is that guy really?
Who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
He's a paid agent.
The conspiracy that I loved at like the end of last year is that and people believe this is how much entrenched the Q movement was, where it's like they've gone past reality and gone into what the fuck are you on mode, that Joe Biden and Donald Trump have had a face transplant, like Face Off with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. And actually, when Biden gets inaugurated, it's actually Donald Trump. Now, the problem is, if you know your Japanese Robotech type of thing, Joe Biden could fit into Donald Trump. So changing the face doesn't work because they've got totally different body shape and height.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't spring for the money on the clones.
Well,
okay, let me give you this one. This is just breaking news from not really. It's about 6 hours ago. This came, and it was probably written about 8 years ago. But anyway, it says, and this is from Hutard Avenue. Okay, so you'll like this. It says, now, again, I'm going to say again, I don't know what's going on with that Evergreen thing, but the odds of 3 of them jamming up in the same week just because stuff happened is incalculably tiny. But listen to this. This is what they're saying now. This is the thing that bugs me. You know, they keep pushing it down the road, pushing it down the road, pushing it down the road. So listen to this. U.S. SEAL teams and Russian version of U.S. teams. What does that mean? The
Joint operation.
The unit.
It's always a good seller.
What's the name of them, Bruce? The Russian version of
Spetsnaz.
Spetsnaz, right? Yeah. Spetsnaz, right? Okay, so that's what they put. The Russian version of SEALs. Anyway, it says U.S. SEAL teams and Russian version of SEAL teams boarding Ever Given. They're boarding it. I mean, we can't see video of this. Vessels with cranes going there. You know what that means? Yes, they're unloading it. There was a nuke on board the ship, which was supposed to detonate if the ship became compromised. Space Force, you know, Trump's
Trump's Space Force.
Space Force jammed the signal and ran her aground. The nuke has been deactivated. White hats really are in control. It is believed there was help from someone on board the Ever Given. So, I mean, this is like, so now it's going to be because there's a weird scenario, and it is weird that there's 3 of these things. So this thing getting unstuck and unloaded, but what the next thing is going to be, to answer your question, because I was already thinking about this before you guys started the show, was like, now that this boat is going to be eventually freed somehow, then the Q guys are going to say, yeah, and they got 80,000 kids off of there, and they've all been re-assimilated. I'm not going to be where
are the kids? Yeah, where are the kids?
And you just have to keep.
So I want to add something again here. So if you know anything about boats, you cannot unload a boat with a crane if it's not moored directly to the side of something. It will tip over.
Well, I think it's moored to the side of the dirt.
No, it wouldn't matter. If you tried unloading it, then there's no place to unload it. You can't get barges and cranes in there. It's blocking the whole canal.
And it's wedged too. It's on an angle.
Exactly. It's wedged at an angle.
commercial constipation is what it is. It's all
But
blocked up, man.
And guess
You
what?
got to get a suppository in there.
5-6 times a year, a boat gets lodged into the Suez Canal. That article didn't want to tell you that. And just for the fact that article didn't know what the Russian special forces were makes me tend to think that person is a total fucking moron.
Oh no, I'm saying,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, where we're at is this, okay? I read online different news. This is just off of some group, so it's a person saying something. But I read online news stories. One of them saying the boat was still stuck, and within a few hours, another one saying the boat had been unstuck but was not yet freed up to sail. And then I read another article that said it was so freed up to sail. And then later on, I read an article that was still stuck. So my point is, I'm not a journalist. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this boat. Is it unstuck and sailing or not?
It's unstuck. It was unstuck on Friday afternoon, their time.
A week ago. So, I mean, like yesterday, people were saying, oh, it's still stuck in the mud. So this is what I mean. Like, nobody even knows if a fucking gigantic boat is stuck in the mud. But you're also going to tell me, you know, the tens of thousands of the population count of the kids running around underneath the ground in secret tunnels and shit that there's no way you're going to be able to take a look at. But you can't see a giant boat cutting off a crucial canal in the world, and you don't know for sure if it's sailing or if it's not sailing. Like, all I'm doing is breaking this down to simple. You don't know if it's loose and free or if it's still stuck, but you're saying one thing or the other. And then you're also supposed to take these people's words about the exactitudes of tens of thousands of operatives and kids and stuff. Like, it doesn't make sense that these people actually know what's going on. Once again, I'll say it. This is one of the largest boats in the world, extremely visible at various different levels of approach. And it's either moving along in the water or it isn't. And we can't get a solid answer on this. So, like, nobody knows shit if you can't tell me that.
Yeah, and to add to that, the same people that say that, oh, there's cranes and they're saving all the kids, they actually broadcast information of what they're going to do. And I'm not sure if anyone here has been in warfare, but explain to me how you're going to win a war by telling the enemy what you're going to do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and it's all secret, and I'm telling everyone via the internet, which is a global web around the entire world, and so hopefully our enemy doesn't watch this.
Let's all huddle together for this secret meeting on the internet.
Exactly. Let's all go join a Zoom room, a secret Zoom room with a passcode in it.
How did they know?
Yeah. What is seriously wrong with Roseanne Barr?
I think she has mental issues.
LSD.
Is she microdosing?
I don't think she's micro. I think she's macrodosing.
For a while now.
Oh my God. Who got her on that? Her handler?
I have no idea.
Jeez.
She married Tom Arnold. It could have been as far as back then.
It could have been as far as back then, exactly.
He's pretty level.
At what? I saw footage of is it Buttigieg who we need to ride bikes to save the planet climate change, but there's footage of him getting out of his SUV about a block away and then getting on a bike and then riding into the press conference.
Oh, it's so bad. That's what I mean. There's just such artifice in all of this stuff. Like, that's why anybody would even look at a Trump Q-tard thing. That's why there's just been such obvious. I mean, what is going on with this administration? Like, how have we been able to, it's amazing that this guy, Trump, was so roundly and soundly ridiculed back when he released a word kofef. You would think if Biden released the word kofef, not only would not anybody hear about it, I mean, this guy falls down the fucking stairs of an airplane, nobody hears about it. Like, falls up
the stairs 3 times, and then they said, oh, it's due to wind, which makes it worse.
Yeah, It's even worse. So like the same amount of picking on, and they should be picking on. Like so, like now they're all after Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz maybe trafficked this woman or what. And if that's the case, do it. Like get into it. I say tear it open. You know, I'm not partisan on this issue, but like if how can Democrats, like seriously, how can Democrats sit there now and go, let's get Matt Gaetz because we think something 17-year-old girl something, and it's like, wait a minute, the whole laptop thing, the whole evidence of the Biden, compromise that led to the election, you're going to ignore that completely. And this is what Matt Gaetz is involved in, is like one piece of paper inside that laptop of thousands of pieces of paper. So I just don't understand how people can put stuff aside that they used to be really all about, and now it's okay. Here's another quick example, just so it's not about politics. Last year, I was saying to people around this time that mostly, like, I didn't like what was going on with COVID and everything. Right around this time, a year ago, April, May as well, I was saying I'm really uncomfortable with what's going on because I think they're going to try to bring a vaccine to market. And anybody that knows anything knows that vaccines take a certain amount of time. And people would say back then to me, oh, that's crazy. They're not going to be, no, they're not doing that. So like in the same brain, they were saying last year, look, I get it. There's no way a vaccine can come this quickly. We're fucked. And then all of a sudden, within months, it's ready to go. So they think. And these same people are going, yeah, great, get it into me. The same people who were saying like 10 months ago, I understand there's no way this can be a thing, are now saying, I can't wait to get the phone call to roll up my sleeve. Like it doesn't. And then when you ask them about it, they're like, well, it's serious and we need to get this done and everything. It's like, yeah, I'm talking about the gap between you said, you acknowledged, you realized this was impossible. Then you were criticizing people who were saying it was impossible because, like, I was criticized for being ridiculous, for even bringing the notion that a vaccine could come by Christmas. When I predicted that would be problematic if they did it, I was nuts. But when they actually brought one in and it was available around November, which was available earlier than that, but they didn't want to make it earlier than November 3rd, these guys want to get in line for it without commenting on the gap in logic and thought. And people are doing this more and more now, where they don't have any investment at all, like 2 seconds later, in what they were all about a minute ago. It's like we're all experiencing our own timelines. When they say there's different timelines of choice, but
do they say that?
Well, I mean, I don't understand how you could sit there and criticize the shit out of someone and then within less than a year take the actual product that you were criticizing that person for announcing was on the way.
I can. Have you met people? Like, people are very.
Yeah, I don't get it though. It's a cumulative state of shit in the brain from stuff that everyone's eaten over the last 20, 30, 40 years. Like, gotta be something.
You've got QAnon. You've heard of QAnon, the Q-tards.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But now it's like the balance in the force has been realigned, because you now have BlueAnon, where they're putting democratic conspiracy theories like, oh, we have to have the Capitol in lockdown because all these Trump supporters are going to attack. And it's been that level where it's, because the extremism's like a horseshoe. Left, right is a horseshoe, and everyone in the extreme bit are all idiots. It's just really weird to see, as one group rises, there seems to be another one to match it. And BlueAnon and big tech are trying to suppress BlueAnon.
What absolutely astounds me, guys, is the way they're able to maintain the dual friction to keep the cyclone ascending into the air. I mean, it's been 4 years now, 5 years if we go right back to the beginning of the Trump administration, and it just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. It's not dissipating at all. The duality, the tension, the conflict, it's just the whole thing is extremely manufactured. That's the program right there, is to keep you in a constant state of action reaction. Charge discharge, as they call it in the penal system, and everybody's looped into this now. Over.
Well, yeah, you can see the way that the today's president compared to the former president were treated by the media, where I've actually seen, mind you, it's slowly cracking because Biden is so obvious. There's something completely wrong. I flip between sad and comedic. But Tucker Carlson had someone on. It's like, so what did you think about Biden's press conference? And the guy's just gone, I think it went well. Because he had cheat sheets, he had softball questions. At one point, he actually comes away from the podium and walks up to try and hear them. And the fallout, it won't stop. It's just like, hey, that looks like a younger me. There's articles afterwards. There's articles afterwards saying Biden did really well in the press conference, but the media embarrassed themselves, and it's like they're just doing the whole spin where the emperor's got no clothes or cognitive dissonance, but he keeps doing it. You don't have to attack Biden; you just wait for him to do something. How do you break a leg by patting a dog, and the same dog keeps biting people?
Yeah.
That's a bad sign, a biting dog.
Yeah.
Fighting with Biden.
Come on, man. And his eyes are really, I don't know which clone they're using, but the eyes are really close together. And it's, when you put a G.I. Joe on the dashboard in the sun for 24 hours?
Yeah.
What's his, what was it?
He's real golem.
His left eye during the debates and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Black.
Yes, that's when they thought he had the stroke, and then he burst a blood vessel in his eye, and it went all red.
Is that what it
was?
He
got the nickname. He got the. You'll love this. He got the nickname Bleeding Eye Joe.
Bleeding Eye Joe. Yeah.
Just a long-faced, dog-faced pony soldier is what it was.
Or he had a mini stroke on stage. Okay.
Have you noticed Kamala Harris is channeling her inner Joker? She keeps laughing at anything. Like, are you going down to the border to look into the crisis? Not today. It's like, wow. Like, the Joker's real, and it's the vice president of the United States.
Well, she's similar to the leader of New Zealand, where you talk about clones, etc. I don't know if horse embryos were involved at all, but they look very horse.
Prime Minister Arden.
Yeah.
Arden? Yeah. She's very
just into Arden.
The irony is, good old Camel Toe Harris. She's playing the comedic line, but she's just a female version of Mike Pence right now, waiting for someone to die or for somebody to fuck up.
Yeah. What's up now? That's the other thing about the Q people, right? So then they were all convinced that this guy was terrible, which is probably true, Pence. And he was going to go down here. He was going to go down there. That was the other thing. Pence was supposed to be the guy. They were saying Pence, I think it was on the 6th, was going to be the one to cast the vote that would crush the Democratic whatever it was, so that the Trumps would
certifying
win.
Of the vote. But that was the big lie. There was no actual certifying the vote. The vote was already certified before it came to Congress. It was just a ritual. It was just a ritual day, a magical ritual day, is all that was.
And to prove that moment, is Andrew pointed out at the end. Once they go, it took quarter to 4 in the morning. They finally did the gavel. Pence walks 2 steps to his right and is given a coin by somebody.
Yeah, that was strange. What was that all about?
That was by what senator was it? McConnell. Yes, so it had Medusa on one side and an angel on another side.
What was that coin?
He was activated because he's part of the Christian secret societies, Knights of Malta, Knights of Columbus, all of them. He's really high in those Christian groups.
Wow.
Yeah, because
the Pope had basically given him an order. You had to complete this ritual.
And so he did
to harvest energy.
So he did what he was supposed to do, and then he got that golden.
No. That was the order given to him.
Oh, okay.
That was the order.
No, I thought that was the payment for doing the order.
No. There was that to go in depth into what the dark rituals are, it started long before the election. Okay, the receiving of the coin is the ending of the ritual.
Okay.
Whoa. Sequence is everything in a ritual.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's a lock, and it's all about energy harvesting, and of course, modern day economics filter into rituals instead of like they do a ritual and they want something to happen. The way they do it now, and correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, is they did the ritual, and so the next 4 days are on credit, or like it's been. What's the way of explaining it? Where they're not waiting for the energy to turn up; they've already spent the money that they're getting.
It funds the next 4 years infrastructure, harvest infrastructure.
Yeah.
Okay, but the infrastructure itself gets paid more than its hourly rate, and every 4 years just pays the hourly rate.
Yeah.
Okay. So all the people in the energy harvesting industry have their own golden parachutes.
That's one thing I learned from Andrew and Bruce, like reading the book. I secretly, a squirrel got a copy of the book. It's awesome. You have to wait a month. Is that, you know, free will universe, free will galaxy, free will solar system, free will planet. It's all commerce and business. And I think I tapped into my God spark, like, really? Okay. I have this aversion against business. Like, I just want to exist and be and have fun. I'm definitely from another universe.
Yeah, probably. I don't feel good here. And just to get this mess out of the way, too. Just want to get this whole Pence mess out of the way. Like, how do you even factor this guy? If you're a Q person and all that stuff, you hate him because he didn't do what he was supposed to do, and he's a traitor to the Trump people. And if you're on the other side and you're a Democrat or whatever, you also hate him because he was a Trump person, all this kind of stuff. What happens to this guy? Like, does he just get to disappear untouched? No.
Oh no, he will go on and make his own legend, his own living legend within the secret societies.
Mike Pence?
Oh God, yeah. He'll be on
He's
the touring circuit. He'll be on the touring circuit and be named the head of a major Ivy League college within 2 years.
Yeah, him and his pet fly.
I'm going to double down on that.
Wow.
But not Cornell.
One of the major Ivy League schools will make him president.
I had the feeling, different topic of it was kind of like a dream, but I was awake, but it felt like a dream, and it was like someone else's dream that I was able to watch. So that was strange in its own. Like,
so it was like television dream.
Yeah, kind of thing. Like, it's like you're seeing something and it's a nightmare, but it's not for you and it's not about you. It's something else. And so this is what it was. And it's hard to put it in words, but the sensation was of a person who had been vaccinated and who was experiencing the feelings that came from the vaccination, and they were now in a place where they were wishing they had not gotten vaccinated, and they were trying to get out of it, and there was just the sense of having no way out of that. Same way you'd have no way to out of jail if you were, got a 170-year sentence with no chance of parole or something, right? And it was like,
unless you're a hedge fund owner.
Yeah.
He had 790 years of prison and he got pardoned.
Well, that's the odd case, but I'm just saying, like, when someone's in there forever. And so this is the sense that I was feeling was like someone who, maybe decided to get the fucking shot or not get the shot. So they spent a lot of time researching it. Then they went ahead and got it. But now that they've gotten it, they change in their mind and wish they didn't get it. But now the sense that I was feeling was this massive, painful regret of having gotten it the first time and being trapped in just having to go along with it. And it was, it was definitely not my feeling because I'm not getting.
I just had an image of like all the past and future lies of that person, just going, "What the hell are you doing? What are we supposed to? Come on!"
Exactly. Yeah. It's just like, oh God. But it was a. I don't know. It's hard to put it into words, but it was like, uh, yeah, a machine. Like, they say the ghost in the machine. It was like the ghost halfway to the machine, regretting it was going to the machine. Anyway, it was definitely someone else's. The only thing I wasn't sure was if it was a general kind of regret or if it was one specific person's thing bleeding in. Wasn't able to discern that. But it doesn't surprise me. There's a lot of uncertainty with it, right? Like even people say, "Oh, anti-vaxxers and vaxxers." This is a different topic. This is a brand new, different, other kind of vaccine. It's not the same argument.
No, the
So-
media is pushing that anti-vax, where even people are, "I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I just don't want to use experimental drug that's only existed for 9 months." And
Right.
the media,
Oh,
anti-vaxxer.
you're anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
As
But
soon as the guy-
I'm up to date with my vaccines. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Mind you, my 6-year-old niece has more vaccines in her than I do.
Yeah.
Wow.
72 now, I think it is. By the time you get to a certain age.
Wow.
22 by the
incredible.
time you're 18 months old.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've also noticed a lot of people that are on the left, not all the left, I want to clarify that, but like, the rise of mental illness, I see it a lot in the left, where we have to fight for justice and everything else like that. And I'm seeing my therapist. I wonder if they're connected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, remember
You know what
about a year ago, Andrew, I basically said, like, the left are completely disingenuous. I mean, at least the right, they're honest about their weirdness and their hate, but the left are in complete denial of their weirdness and their hate.
Yeah. So what amazes me about what's going on now in the most acute way as we get beyond the polarity of the Democrats and the Republicans and Trump and Biden and all of this stuff is that there's nobody in the intelligentsia actually putting forth good solutions, because the problems that we're facing are not insurmountable. As Andrew points out all the time, we require a general across the board percentage decrease in corruption. The market and the way it's traded and the way consequences brought about to people who violate the rules should reflect it. The justice system should reflect the amount of damage you've done. Now, if you're a hedge fund manager and you wipe out 1,000 family pensions in America, that's a lot of damage. It's a lot more than a gangbanger is going to do on a crack binge.
1,000
Right?
families is nothing. Most of the time,
Yeah.
it's 100,000 or 200,000 families that are taken.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why does the punishment not fit the crime? Why don't we have equity in our justice system? Why did we allow these people to go into the future of the market with their cray computers? Why don't we make the derivatives market illegal? You'll never find, they all try to, every time anybody in the market, and I've had many people try to explain this to me, people who make $3 million a year as traders. I knew these kinds of people in Toronto. They always start with a commodity. Well, Bruce, if you have oranges, and I'm going, hey, Fred, the orange becomes a piece of paper, which becomes another piece of paper, which becomes another piece of paper. If you're going to talk to me, don't start with the fucking orange. And then they just walk away.
Start with the orange peels and then work into selling me the whole orange.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. There's so many micro solutions we could apply right now that would restore 20% confidence to the markets in the system now. How are you gonna get behind a global superpower like America that says we all got to play by these rules or else? And then, oh, by the way, these rules include us ripping off the whole world through things like putting, phony AAA bonds on the international market. Nobody was penalized by that. So if you or I go into our garages and start counterfeiting the US dollar or the Canadian dollar, we're going to go to jail for a long time if we're successful at it and we circulate a certain amount of currency. And federal police forces are looking for us. These guys put out counterfeit AAA bonds that were used as reserves in every central bank in the world. How is that not a crime? You may as well be selling pig iron painted yellow and selling and telling people it's gold.
Well, that's right. That's
and
true.
you know, and hold on, I'm gonna, you know, and when this trickles out into communities like the Black community, how do you think they respond? My cousin's doing 5 years for pinching a Snickers bar, or he got caught with like, you know, 12 grams of weed separated into gram bags on a corner. He's doing 3 years in Michigan, and these guys are what? So what is the rallying point that unites all the disparate points and gets us out of charge and discharge? End the corruption. Andrew's been right all along.
Yeah, well, it's true. It's like the same thing happened with the water in Flint, Michigan. I mean, you know, if you stole a bottle of water in Flint, Michigan, and you stole that jug of water, you're in more trouble than the guy who made sure he poisoned shitloads of families.
Yeah.
And that's just, and the other thing about Flint, Michigan is that's just a flash. That's just a piece of flash paper that people have heard about. That situation is going on all over places that have pipes carrying water.
So right now to blow that story up, anybody's pipes who are older than 40 years right now have the exact same problem of Flint or 100 times worse.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah. That's Flint. Everyone's going, oh, that's terrible. What's going on up in Flint? Oh, gee whiz. It's the same thing almost everywhere, you know, at this point.
Land, water, food, telecommute, land, water, food.
So something else the EPA has done has made these Superfund sites where they're super dirty and the companies have declared bankruptcy and opened up on another name, so they're not liable anymore.
Yeah.
Now there are microfund sites now too. Example, there's a place inside Utah. It's in northern Utah. I can't remember the name of the city, but they redid their water system in the 1960s. And shortly after they redid the water system, there was a major change in the construction rules and stuff. And so 30-something years later, you know, the stuff starts to break down. And this was just before Flint. So before Flint happened, and ended up evacuating the entire city. Well, like 12,000 people. Okay. You couldn't use the water in any way, shape, or form because the pipes that were out were untreated pipes. The chemicals that they put in them was treated pipes. So everything was leaching out, and the pipes were reaching in some places, instead of 1/8 of an inch or 3/8 of an inch thick, they were less than 1/4 inch thick.
Wow, that's not good.
You could always spend $20,000 on a filtration system because, you know,
it won't matter. It won't matter. It won't matter.
Sometimes I regret knowing all the details.
Lit yourself up a candle, Bruce. You're a pyromaniac. You know what
I love the candlelight. I live by, as soon as the sun goes down, it's all candlelight for me.
I don't want to be a salesman, right? But I just read like some prepper thing or whatever. A can of Crisco, you know, the size of a can.
Yeah.
Big ones. 72 days. You push a wick into that stuff and it'll burn for 72 days. That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could tell you how to make all kinds of candles. You know, they didn't have electricity on this mountain until 2014. Right?
Up until the early 1900s, the majority of the world was lit by whale fat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
72 days, though. That was pretty good for a can of Crisco.
There's something very, very, very comforting about a controlled flame and the light it gives.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the smell of the Crisco gets to you after a while.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's like almost done French fries that smell burnt. So it's like, you know, the French fries are 3/4 cooked. You can't eat them because they're only 3/4 cooked and they have that smell, but they also smell burnt at the same time.
Yeah, but if you're in a position where you need 2 months worth of candlelight coming out of a tent, then you're already in a bad position anyway. You can't go complaining about
first thing first, if you've got 2 months notice and can't figure it out, that Crisco will save your life in calories more than burning a light at night. Okay. So if we're gonna get full prepper here, that'll save your life. It'll give you like 500 days of life.
Okay, so what are you gonna say? Raise your hand. Okay, I'm gonna raise my hand. All right.
So we've gotten ourselves into one of these funny spots. Now I want to say something about Crisco. There, like if you go to like Coca-Cola hacks, like you could use Coca-Cola to clean motor grease, all this stuff. There's Crisco hacks too.
Okay, I'm sure there are. Yeah.
Yes.
My mom didn't use Crisco when I was a boy. Like, but
We never used it either. We always used butter or margarine or olive oil or some kind of oil.
I use coconut oil.
well, that brought it to a close. No one likes coconut oil. Apparently, no one said yeah.
Well,
right
I shared a meme like you know the Jay-Z song 99 Problems but a Bitch Ain't One. I got 99 problems and coconut oil fixed 86 of them.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. I love it.
Hi-yo.
Get that out of the way right now. I love coconut oil. I do.
I need a laugh, man. Who's got something funny here? Come on.
Well, what are we talking about? What's even the topic at this point?
Topic can be anything, anywhere. Just don't get me banned for going ultra into like some weirdo.
Have you seen the latest from the world of Satanism? What is it? Little Nas X.
Lil Nas.
Whatever.
Somebody,
that guy.
Somebody bust his rhyme in the background. We got 30 seconds before a copyright infringement.
Yeah, well, no, because the song's terrible, but apparently it gives Satan a lap dance, and he's released a limited edition Nike shoe with blood in the air pocket, and Nike is getting a cease and desist order because it's got nothing to do with Nike. Like, what level of stupidity is like, you know, I want my own Nike shoe. Maybe approach Nike then, or Nike, however you say.
Yeah. I'm going to bring a big load of concrete down again on the media, okay? Because, look, I don't care about all that stuff, but I do care about it as a barometer. So I read that
I got to
story.
say,
that this guy's a little creepy story, this guy. But the point is like, no one in the media that I read, the first bunch of articles I read said, oh, this is not really a sanctioned Nike product, or is Nike okay with this? They all just came out with what it is, you know, what he was doing. And then the next day or 2 days later, it's, oh, Nike's all upset about it. Like, how did you not know that as a journalist when you put the story out in the first place? Oh, yeah.
Because before they put the story out, Nike responded to them with a pre-response, which is we're about to dump them. They just needed the legal paperwork to get together. This is done in branding all the time. That shoe will sell more shoes the way it happened than any other chance he can sell shoes.
It's a limited edition now.
Right. Those hype bro guys that buy shoes online or perfect shoes and only wear them once, which is a huge industry of people buying and selling shoes like that. Huge industry.
That's some Billy the Kid stuff. He's a straight up outlaw. If Nike wins that suit, I'm gonna just that's total white entitlement, man. It's racism. How dare they? How dare they?
The privilege.
Corporate white entitlement.
Now, I find it very magically funny that they put Satan under Nike shoes with blood in the little pumper thing. That is so magically funny. I cannot even begin to tell you that the snickers from all the other realms that are going on.
Well, yeah, you don't buy his shoe with blood in them. You buy a normal Nike one where they actually have blood of children that have made them. Come on.
Well, if it goes well, I understand Lucifer's coming out with a pair of house slippers that looking for all of the demonic and satanic entities coming out with their own footwear lines. So.
Yeah, you know what they're going to look like, the plushy slippers they're going to wear? It's going to be a set of angel shoes that he just walks around on.
How about
at 18?
How about Beelzebub stones? You know what I mean? Like,
my God. Is that like, what do they mean that's blood? Is that really blood?
No, they're saying it's one. They're saying, I'm not endorsing it. They're saying it's one drop of liquid into some other bullshit fake looking blood. 100% real drop of blood per soul per shoe.
Wow.
Soul. Ha 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 ha.
Some other fake liquid thing that's blood red.
Yeah, apparently Lucifer Beelzebub's getting into footwear. I'm coming from your soul to buy these shoes so you can try and run away from me.
And then he'll discover he'll have more success by the vanity of human beings than ever trying to get them to sell their souls for all this other shit he's been doing. Business has never been better. It's all through the shoes.
Listen, like, I don't understand this getting caught in the trap of, on the one hand, you know, thinking it's a great idea, this little NASDAQ thing, and on the other hand, the banning of things. Like, the same people are banning, like, effectively nothing. You know, like the Dr. Seuss thing or whatever. They're banning that because it's a big problem. But then they're embracing these other, like, you know, dark issues, like a pair of Satan shoes. You know, it's so stupid.
Well,
It's
the
like,
thing
what-
is, it is an absolute, it's an absolute brilliant marketing play by Little Nas. He was an irrelevant nobody in 2020 and into 2021, and he just put something out. Will guarantee to make him in his pocket $100 million by the end of the year.
And
But
the
it's a-
song sucks.
it's a
The song is so terrible.
Yeah,
It's a method. I never heard of the guy until it happened, but it's a methodology because what happened was I read an article because I don't know anything about this guy. Just the shoes came up, so I read it. So the thing is that a lot of fans were like parents of younger fans have expressed some kind of concern about this because he was in this other video. The one that broke out for him was called Old Town Road or something. And
Old Town Road.
some kind of bullshit. So I listened to it just to see
Hi-yo.
compared to the new thing that he's got out now, right? And this is the thing. This is the pattern that tells me it's the same people. So it wasn't Nas X who got to the top. It was a bunch of people at the top who run that industry who went, Nas X is going to be the next guy. And so Nas X goes in there with his song was Old Town Road, and it's kind of homey, it's kind of down and whatever. But listen, that's what the parents don't like because they got their kids interested in this guy because he was doing this old timey kind of, you know, jam with Billy Ray Cyrus type of thing, and they go right from that into the Satan deal. Right now, the same thing happened. Oddly, here's your connection. He did that song Old Town Road with Billy Ray Cyrus. Billy Ray Cyrus is the father of Miley Cyrus, who was introduced to the world as a wholesome little girl, a little Disney, you know, lady, whatever. Hannah Montana got everybody into that. And then you flip the script and she's got her clothes off and doing the Satanism thing. It's a pattern. You get them in, like even Disneyland, you know, you get them in when it's all cute and young, it's all cool. Then you flip it to this other thing. This is a pattern. It's the same thing. So it's not really like this little Nas X. There's a million of these guys.
They call that turning them out in the pimping business.
Turning them out. That's right. Turning them out.
Interesting thing about it.
I don't give him any credit for creating the scheme. He's the next picked up and used little kid. You know, he'll probably die some horrible, weird rapper death, you know, like they usually do.
Interesting though, the one positive thing came out of it is Tom McDonald wrote a song called Church 5 years ago, and that had a resurgence because he actually did on social media like there's all this listen that, you know, I have a song called Church, you know, and it's all about going to church and you know, cause,
okay, I like that guy. He's got he's been really dropping some bombs lately.
His girlfriend or partner is also an artist as well, and she's got one song where You Did Your Best, and she's actually basically praising her family for all the crap they went through. And after 3 minutes, she's like, "Oh no," because it just hits perfectly. It's because it's truth basically, like their truth expressing. Where like her grandmother had dementia, and then in the video she walks out and apparently she gets hit by a car, and she basically thanks her family for all the stuff that you did because the parents had to give up on their dreams because they had kids and blah blah blah, and it's quite touching.
I've seen a lot of his videos now. I think he's really good, and you know, you're never going to see him at the Super Bowl the same way you had that weekend guy at the Super Bowl. You know, they're both Canadian, but so what, right? Like he's saying the truth. He's not going to get on the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
I'm totally out of touch with up-to-date news. I mean, music. Sorry. For the last week, I've been watching Iron Maiden Blu-rays and DVDs. So I'm watching English heavy metal from 1980.
Like you're time traveling. You're time traveling.
Yeah, I'm time traveling. Like, this came out when I was 6. Breaking, running free. Yeah, I'm running free.
A bridging of the gap of the black-white divide. I don't know if you know what's going on in America, but there's a big black-white divide going on there. But you know who's really helping out with the black-white divide? And this has turned from a guilty pleasure that I had into, I watch one of these a week, is a heavy metal band or a rock band or a group that's progressive like Rush, and it's a video playing and it's being watched by black people and they comment on it.
The reaction videos, I've seen those.
And it's amazing to watch a guy who's like full on gangster rap kind of guy just sit down and shut up and listen to some rock tune, right? It's really entertaining. And then you see them going like, oh wow, this is really cool, I like this. So I saw this guy yesterday he's watching Thunderstruck and his friend by AC/DC. So his friend is giving him this thing and he's going, no man, I don't do rock, like fuck that, I'm not watching any of this thing. And the guy finally gets him to watch it and then he reacts to it. So it takes him the first intro and everything into the first chorus before he starts bopping his head and he's getting into it. And it's funny. And then they're commenting on it. So then I saw a guy, he's a drummer. This black guy's a drummer watching a drum solo from Neil Peart of Rush, and he's just freaking out. He was all set to critique it. He just sits there and gets blown away by it. And it's funny, like there's a weird market for guys who were never listening to hard rock and progressive rock when it was out. Now they're listening to it.
There's the reaction market. That whole reaction is a market. There's reaction for video games, reaction to news.
It's so weird.
This whole react videos, YouTube realized there were people making their $1 million, even though the heuristic is set up for no more $1 million YouTubers, because they didn't foresee reaction as a genre. And the thing is, they're using clips from other videos. So if you know anything about YouTube's Nazi regime when it comes to copyright infringements, it's as bad as the Gestapo. Okay,
yeah, they've even got to the point where people react to music videos, and then sometimes they get the actual artist of the music video to react to the reaction.
Yes. Yeah. Now, I've seen that with Metallica. There was a group of inner city gangsters who had never listened to heavy metal. I hate heavy metal, the whole setup to it. And then they bring in Lars and go, this is the guy from Metallica. So obviously they know who Metallica is, and they probably listened to it before, but they've not just sit and listened to a song on purpose. Okay. Yeah. So there's Lars, the other side, who's going to raise their energy no matter what. Okay.
Well, it's Lars.
Yeah. Right, it's Lars. And then you see them getting into it, and they're doing one or whatever one that they were doing, and then you see, like straight up Hindu Indians reacting to American pop music. Those are really good.
Yeah.
Or the other Indias from the high India giving them American food for the first time.
I saw a really great one like that where there were these dudes. They're like from way up in the high mountains somewhere in Russia. Like I can't remember what kind of tribe they were. Like folks that they're just I can't remember, but they're like way up there, yogurt eating, people speaking a strange language you don't know. So they brought them into the studio, and they're getting them to eat ice cream and hot apple pie.
Right.
So they haven't had anything like this at all, right? So they're trying both of it. They can't believe how cold the ice cream is. The apple pie tastes like nothing they've ever eaten before. They're putting the two together, and you're just watching them eat it, right? It's so cool.
Yes.
It's really,
and then if you watch the ones with the Indians, they don't use silverware, so everything's a piece of bread. So you see them pick apart their burgers with the bread to get into it, and it's really funny if you've never seen the other eating habits. Trying to, having a McDonald's Big Mac for the first time and then spitting it out
It's interesting, like the positive side of global, like the natural version of globalism, where humanity can become one, not the false crap reality we have now, where it's all been forced, like 1984. Is Metallica? I'll use Metallica and Iron Maiden. They can tour anywhere with electricity, and 50,000 people turn up. Like I was one of the Iron Maiden videos is Flight 666, where the band actually, the lead singer flies the plane and they fly around the world in 6 weeks. And they played San Jose in Costa Rica. And it was the biggest, yeah, that's right. It was the biggest show in Central America ever, because thousands of people just from all the countries just turned up. And it's Maiden. You can see Maiden play. I don't think they've done China. Metallica's done China. That was interesting because half their set couldn't be played because of problems. But the Iron Maiden, and Metallica, they go to India, and obviously they've got the numbers, but 50,000. It's Led Zeppelin 70s shows. It's all connected by the music, and there's no politics, no racism, no. Look, you're a metalhead and you're there to enjoy the music, and of course these bands are brilliant live. And there's that connecting element, and it's like, oh, we're in a terrible world. What do you mean? Iron Maiden's touring. How can the world be that terrible when Iron Maiden and Metallica? Oh, imagine if they headline together. Oh,
it's hard to say, but there's a guy in the chat. Someone, I think it's a guy, who knows, a person from the chat. Oh yeah, Jimmy the Kid, and I totally agree with this. The subtext is of what we're talking about. Let's never make anything ever again and just react for the rest of eternity. But that's what
that's Hollywood for the last 10 years.
That's true. That's what's going on, because first you had this music was being made for decades, and folks weren't listening to it at all. Like, no, I don't listen to that. I don't listen to that. I don't listen to rap. I don't listen to rock. It was clear, and it was none of this, right? Now, these guys have figured out they can make money listening to it. Like, imagine a bunch of ghetto kids sitting around listening to Yes or Genesis and drumming up.
The thing is that's real. That's actually real, and big tech had to react to it. We're talking hundreds of thousands of people were making so much money off of advertising YouTube advertising dollars. This was still in 2016, after they had already nuked the entire system.
Yeah.
So let me give you some real world statistics there. At the height of YouTube earnings, Paul Joseph Watson was pulling in about $60,000 a month by his own admission.
Paul Joseph Watson was.
Yeah, 60,000 US a month.
What was he doing?
He made his bones with Alex Jones, and then he went out off and did his own.
Yeah, but his view count was averaging 400 to 500,000. That's what made him his 60 grand. Yeah, and then he had sponsors after that. Now, if the thing is with the YouTube, the way YouTube changed its system after they changed its system, they made it so that people who are going to be innovative, like reaction videos, they've already have an advertising campaign prepared for it. Example, YouTube's about to cut anybody that doesn't actually bring them value. You'll never get your 100,000 views. The heuristic will point to you, and they'll start to give you troubles with whatever videos you're putting up. This is an old school YouTube tactic we've seen. I've been on YouTube since 2009 or 10. When with this main account, I think 2014 when I set up the business, or 2013. And Facebook since 2008. So I've held a presence, and what I've determined here is the connections that people have. Example, Monty was talking how I'm a metalhead, I'm there for the music, and whatever political dogmas don't affect you being a metalhead. Okay, you're choosing it to do it for the music, and there is where there's an opportunity in which videos can go viral. Now, I have always said we are one crazy cat video away from unity, where we're all laughing at once, where it gets a billion views in a day. Yeah. Okay, 500 million views in a day, guess what? Will definitely alter humanity's mood. I would even go any video doing 100 million views in a day. And that's pretty common on YouTube if you go look at the ratings.
Like PewDiePie's got up to 6 million people and stuff.
Right. So Joe Rogan, who's now who's already left YouTube and has more subscribers on YouTube since he's left YouTube. Irony. Okay. He's gained 2 million subscribers and has $100 million a year with Spotify, a $100 million contract with Spotify.
Yeah.
Now, YouTube did this thing where they updated the actual sales of video on something called Social Blade. Now, if anybody wants to look it up, you can go to a website called socialblade.com, SOCIALBLADE, and click on the YouTube, and you'll see the earnings of everybody that's out there. It's estimated earnings. Now, Joe Rogan was earning between $700,000 and $1.2 million per month, and peaked at $5.5 million in a month.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Just from YouTube.
Just from YouTube.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Because he had consistent view counts.
Yeah.
I'm not monetized yet. I'm only at 561, which is the highest I've got. So if anyone's not subscribed, just go over to my channel, Wafer Thin Entertainment, and subscribe. You don't have to watch any of the videos. Just I need the subscriber count so I can be monetized, and then probably get kicked off because I'm talking about things that aren't part of the narrative. But I'm doing well after 15 months in this day and age. And I've started this. Yeah. It's a joke, but it's true. But I've got tens of people watching and listening. That's my audience. Tens.
That's nice. You know, eventually you'll get to 100.
Oh no, it's over 100. I haven't got to 200, so I can't say hundreds. The highest I get up to is around about 160 on the YouTube, which is strangely enough more than I get while on air.
Or if you were in a comedy room. Because there is no difference if they're in front of you or online.
Well, no, in the comedy room, I'll at least probably bomb in front of 30 people. So that's a quarter of the audience.
But you're not bombing. You're doing fine.
Yeah, well, online I'm fine because I don't see these people. You know, I'm just talking to a microphone. And
then we need to go set up an audience for you.
Yeah, but that's global. But yeah, it's like here in Melbourne, we've got the comedy festival, and now this is one of the best rooms in Melbourne, and I've seen a couple of photos. It's like there's 20 people there. That's the height of comedy in Australia. You could play to 20 people, yay, for free. So it's not like anywhere else where there has a population.
I think. Alan, what's the state of stand-up in Ontario? Are there any clubs open?
I don't think so. I don't know anymore because they were folding, and then one at the dangling lockdown there was one that folded and then went back in. I don't know, but anyway, they're pretty much all closed now. I saw the Toronto Yuck Yucks was up for sale months and months ago. The Ottawa one recently closed. I think there's some other people opened a club in New.
Holy cow! Ottawa closed. What are you telling me there? What are you telling me there? Are you telling me that Wafik is working at a car wash now?
Everybody's working at a car wash now. There's no such thing as touring.
He's got children. Yeah.
There's nobody's doing tours. Some people are doing Zoom shows. Last year. Just sitting back and watching the carnage. I don't know what it was like for you, Monty, but like I say, as a comic, personally, I got waylaid by a disease, so I was out of the game of going into venues all the time. So I've been kind of dealing with it. Then just as I'm turning around, everybody else falls into the forced retirement, right? But they didn't realize they were retiring. They didn't, this is going to be 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month. And just wear the mask, hurry up and do that and stay home. And then we can go back to the clubs and get back to my job. And, and so the comics were very, not all of them, I'll say, but almost all of them. Most of the ones that I see or have access to or talk with, they were all insistent that we just mask up, just do what the new owner says, that we're selling far fewer tickets at the comedy room. Everybody should stay home pretty much, and this way we can get back to normal. So, but there wasn't a lot of pushback at all. There wasn't any pushback against the entire state of things. And so, anyway, the comics were making announcements like, well, I got to do this or I got to do that or I have to get a new job or something. That was the first thing. And then you started to see these stand-up shows going on, like a drive-in theater style show, you know, like outside with cars and a big stage. So everyone's far apart, you know, everyone's like massively socially distanced. Anyway, there's an inherent thing that you know about in comedy. I don't know how this is going to get replaced. No one seems to talk about the intimacy that really is the life force of every powerful stand-up show I can recall seeing in my life, whether it was I was involved in it or not, or before that, or someone else. There's just something about a person in a room who's doing their thing. The room is only so big. No one else is listening. You're not on your phone. You know what I mean? There was a special connection of intensity with, and you're not going to get that on Zoom ever. You're not going to get that in a broadcast sense. You don't get that even when Steve Martin quit. That's why he quit stand up, because he was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And after 1980, he completed, or 1981, I think it was, when he was completed this tour where he was doing like giant theater,
Can
like
can I
hockey.
can I ask a quick question here?
So what are you going to do? Where are you going to have it? Where are you going to hold this event?
I have a quick question. Who's piping in the whale music?
Piping in the whale music.
Yeah.
I hear it. I hear it now too. It's somebody's microphone's reverberating.
No. That's like somebody's got like a YouTube. Alan, are you playing one of those 432 hertz YouTube videos in the background?
I might have one. I don't know. That's a very good chance. I don't hear it, but anyway.
Yeah, it's like sounds pretty cosmic.
But anyway, like, what are we like? You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna have. Now I've lost the picture. You're not gonna have. Where'd you guys go? You're not gonna have stand up anymore. Like, until there's a massive change. But like the way they were trying to reintroduce stand up in Ontario, which obviously wasn't going to work. It was fun to watch them try, but it was like drastically reduced seating. Right, so whatever. Say you had 120 seats before. Now you're doing like 60 or 50.
Yeah, it's
Everyone's wearing masks. Everything's distant. Everything's far apart. And you know, as a comic, every time you went into a sparsely packed room before COVID, it was like, oh god, you know, ah shit. There's no one in the front row. Gee whiz, you know, you want to pack it in tight. You want to have a nice, intense feeling of listening to what's going on in this cool place. I mean, I can't even believe how many places I've seen in England and some other cool places that where the stand-up worked in there, because it was this low ceiling, packed in, too many people. You know, they're anticipating what the guy's going to say. There was a magic to it that just can't be captured on these video presentations. And
yeah,
so
here in
I don't know how they're
Melbourne,
going to get back.
here in Melbourne, there's only one dedicated comedy club that's opened up, and that can hold up to 400 people. And they've started a business. It's above a supermarket, so that's quite interesting. And so some other pubs and clubs are doing comedy rooms, but the problem is the law at the moment, because we went through a horrendous second lockdown last year. It was like 110 days, which was hardcore lockdown, which it was even worse than North Korea. And now we've got rid of masks unless you're in taxis, Ubers, or public transport. So we're almost out, but it's one person per 2 square meters. And so venues like music venues are hit hard because they're only getting 30% crowd, and you can't survive on 30%. That's not how a business works.
This is some killer material. Did you guys work this material before you came on here? This is killer. I'm laughing on the inside, man. It's killing me.
Saying, like, we're not at that place, Bruce. We're not at the fucking place. We're trying to. How are you even really going to do this? Like, honestly, God, how are you really going to do it?
Well, I think Alan will agree with me. If we were actually on stage in a live audience, it would work. But we're on Zoom.
A venue where people would come in not afraid to see. Yeah, that's what I mean, though. Like, how are you going to do it? Because you can't see, like, people are afraid to go anywhere now. You know,
Which
in
I
that-
think is adding to the whole thing about the virus as well, because if you're in fear mode, which lowers the immune system, and it's very karma debt laced, as Andrew calls the COVID, because people make a choice of like, oh, it's a deadly disease. Well, you do have enough power to allow it to kill you, if that makes sense.
Is that the punchline?
Well,
Let us know when you're gonna do the punchline, Monty. Or let me
it's
do it
supposed
for
to be a
you.
surprise.
I want to pop in here and say something. When it comes to live audience, after the bubonic plague and 80% of Europe died, people were healed by live music. And I believe live music, live shows, live concerts will be very rejuvenating for people to go back to. And in fact, I think there will be a new renaissance of those types of communities.
But listen, where's all this fucking money coming from? Like, look,
You will be paid in fruit.
But listen, seriously, in any business, but let's focus on comedy, okay? In any business, but let's focus on comedy right now. A comedy club right up to March 2020, right up until they called the coronavirus shutdown. Every single comedy club had a higher attendance figure than they're now able to have. And they were already at a place where they were trying to figure out how to charge more money and how to make more money because there wasn't enough money. So they're going to add money to the ticket price. And they were trying to figure it out. And if there's a couple extra tables they could put in there, they would. Now you're telling me they got to drastically reduce how many people are coming in to like by 60, 50, 70%. And they go, okay, fine. How can this even continue? Like, because 2 years ago when inflation was at a certain height and you were trying to get this much money, and now it's even higher and you're only going to get this much money way down here because you got far fewer people. You're only going to do one show.
That's
like, I don't see how it even takes off the ground.
That's just the economy was in the crap hole before COVID manifested. If you want to have a look at even something more depressing, comic book shops. They were on the slide beforehand, and a lot of them have been wiped out because they couldn't survive. And it's fascinating where the government thinks, no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You should have, stored for the winter type thing. However, you lost your business, or that's upsetting. Yeah, well, you didn't. The government didn't help, and they forced the lockdown. The government is actually the cause of most of these businesses being crushed because they're not allowed to actually, and because the banks and everything else like that are just like, no, we need our money. And it's I understand where Bruce is coming from now. It's like this bit's not really that funny.
No, it's not. So we can try. We can try to do that if we agree that we're just going to have to come up with a new way to do it. Because this is, you can't
get rid of the central banks and corruption. Because like the amount that's in the last year, how many poor people? A certain percentage of the people on the planet lost $30 trillion. And yet the mega corporations made $30 trillion or whatever the number was. It was exactly the same. It's like, well, it's just been transferred. And there's actually people now, instead of like, if you want something on Amazon, try and find it somewhere else, because they understand that the mom and pop businesses and, think global, act local type thing. And it's all centralization. And I mean, even with Disney Plus, they're not releasing like new shows on Blu-ray or anything else like that, or even downloads. They just want you to watch the streaming service, and if you like a show, you have to hope it's on there.
Yeah.
And they're actually, apparently now Disney Plus is charging for old movies with Bruce Willis and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Go to Trash and Treasure or flea markets and just buy the physical copy for less than the one time you would rent it for, and you actually have physical copies. Basically, what I'm saying, because like even you remember Jesse, what's his last
Body
name?
Ventura.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura. He had a show called Conspiracy Theory, and there was an episode. I think it was on JFK, and it was a streaming service, and you had like TiVo, and so people recorded on their boxes, and then the network's like, no, we don't like this. It's got too much information, or it will upset people, and so the actual company went into the home set boxes and removed them from everybody's. They completely scrubbed it from their network.
Yeah. Well, I have a body of DVDs from when I was buying DVDs, and it's funny to me because now I look at them and they're like pretty much from 1999 to 2007 or something. That's when I was buying DVDs a lot, because the place that there was a movie theater near me, but there was also a music store. It was like $10 to get a DVD. I thought, well, it's $9 to go see a movie. Why don't I get a DVD? You know, so
watch it twice and you've made money.
Yeah, watch it a few times. Now you're rolling in it. You know, so the more you watch it, the more money you make. Isn't that the idea? I don't understand though, like how this Disney Plus can just absorb everything. I heard the P in Disney Plus stands for pedophilia, but that was already.
Well, actually, I do have. I'll give you one of my stand-up jokes where, I tried to. Like, I had about 4 years off, and then I went back to that classic stand-up comedian that like, oh, I haven't been doing comedy for a while. I'll start doing it again, and they do it once, and they suck, and they won't go back for another 3 years. Well, I did that sort of testing the water things, and I was talking about the radio show on Revolution Radio, and going through the list of things I've learned, and one of them was that we found out a Disneyland for pedophiles is Disneyland.
Well, we're going to get in trouble here because someone on the chat is saying, don't diss on Disney.
Uh-oh.
See, now this is a thing. This is a thing now where people get to decide what other people are going to talk about or not. And it's amazing to me.
Oh, no, she didn't.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I don't think
Talk
there's a
to
fear
the hand.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a fear of we're not allowed to upset Disney. I don't think we would get work with Disney to start with. So let's just ram home that point of like going, well, they don't want to work with us. Why? Well, let me show you. They suck.
Well, ever since you go back to that, there's a really old meme of it's not a meme, it's a Disney cartoon of Mickey Mouse making cheese. Have you seen that one?
No.
Oh.
No,
I don't watch Disney that much.
I
I'm
know,
Warner Brothers.
I'm just saying it's it's out there. Me too. I was like that too. But there's this old, like Steamboat Willie. That's what they used to call him back in the days. And so Mickey Mouse is on a conveyor belt in a factory type of thing, and the cheese is going along on the conveyor belt. And if he lets it go through, that's a cheddar cheese. But if he picks it up and starts fucking it with his hard on, which you can see it clearly through his pants, that's Swiss cheese. And he's making the holes in the cheese, and he's just like banging away. I mean, this was like probably made by some naughty Disney animator back in the 30s or something. That's I'm sure those guys must have done something like that. There's no way.
Well, the thing is, the animated porn, they don't talk about the animated porn industry from the 1900s, early 1900s on.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right. Those books that you flip like this and you'd see a whole bunch of pictures doing it? Those were porn like from the 1700s.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they were traded amongst people. And when cartoonography came out and they could make movies out of it, they made full-on porn flicks.
There's money in porn. That's why.
Right.
I mean, even when did they discover Pompeii? Was it in the 1700s or the 1800s? Anyway, it was disappeared for a long time. But when they excavated, all the villas have porn frescoes and everything else. Like, there's this weird thing that most of the ancient civilizations that I'm aware of, fertility and sex, it's all sex based, which I guess is closer to God and just debauchery and everything else like that. But yeah, if you want to see some ancient porn, go to Pompeii.
And by ancient civilization, Monty means Melbourne in the 80s.
Yeah, definitely the 70s.
That was a swingers town, huh?
Just going back to this, just going back to this thing, because I haven't really talked about it with somebody. The fact that just before COVID, all of these comedy clubs were always, charging the maximum amount they could charge and stuffing in as many people as they could stuff. And now they can't. And now they can't. They're just going to have fewer people and fewer shows. So therefore, how can they even open? And then the next question is on top of that, in Ontario here, we just had this province of Ontario, we just had them go from last week. There was a rumor there was going to be a lockdown. And then this week it was, the guy comes on, Doug Ford comes on and says, everybody was nervous. He was going to make this announcement on Wednesday, right? On Wednesday, he comes on and makes the announcement that he's going to make an announcement on Thursday. that was the whole announcement. And then on Thursday, he makes the announcement like, don't travel anywhere this Easter weekend. Just stay home and don't move around much. Ontario's going back into shutdown or whatever. So here's the thing, that people already made plans. We were already in the clear somewhat. And so you go ahead and make plans. Then the government steps in and says, no, you're not. And Trudeau comes in and says, no, you're not. So this is why, another reason why a guy's not going to open a stand-up comedy club. Because if you had a stand-up comedy club open last week, you were booking, yes, I'm going to have an Easter show. I'm going to have a weekend show. I got Monty coming on and this and that. And then you're going to find out today or yesterday maybe that all of a sudden you're not. So that's not a sound business model. So there's no real entry point.
Listen, there will always be
a fucking comedy club that used to work like it did in the old days.
There will always be dreamers who dream up the next comedy club dream. Same thing with the restaurant business. We're talking 80% of the restaurants are going out of business in the United States. 80% mom and pop. Same thing. Some new dreamer will come along and it will recreate itself. As well as there are a lot of owners who have friends with deep pockets because that's how they party on that town. And many of those clubs are supported in the dry times by the private industry. I was a limo driver for a really long time, so I kind of know how this shit works. Okay.
Yeah.
The thing with comedy as well. I think
we're heading into speakeasies. If this is going to be 100-year redux like it was last time, you're going into speakeasies. That's where people used to drink booze when booze wasn't legal.
Now that means open mic night with a live broadcast, because and wherever there's an open mic night, they're going to stream it, and they're all going to start doing the $5.99 a month stream my Friday night open mic night.
Yeah, and on top of that, we need better comedy because the mainstream comedy completely sucks. So I know we've talked about it before, but you need some people just. The outliers, the rebels, and just people taking the piss out of everything. But you got cancer culture and all this shit. But you need people to
stop it, Monty. You're killing me. You're killing me, Monty. I can't stop laughing.
Well, that's my act. I mean, you're my number one man. It's all about tension, and I just build and build and build. And 3 years from now, I'll think of something funny to make you laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you if you've heard this before. This is what is comedy at this point? Is that what you're saying? We're going to need something funnier? We're going to say what?
Well, we need something funny.
Transmutation.
Right.
Transmigrate the spirit of comedy and what it does for people to them. I would find a way to get it into the digi universe. I would create some talking wooden dummy and just do it all through that, and just do this 5-minute cartoons where you're doing stand-up, reviewing the news for the day or something, and just be as outrageous as you can be, right? And then see if people start coming to your comedy room.
Here's
do a laugh
why
track
I don't
too.
know.
Do a laugh track too. People need that after 40 years of TV. Seriously.
I hate the laugh track.
With the division of people who are allegiant to the system as it's prescribed. In other words, a person who's happy to get a vaccine, wear a mask the whole time like the mask was doing anything. There's such a difference of mindset. They're not going to even laugh at stuff a person who doesn't believe in that has to say. It's a further division of. So for example,
but look, there's no digital Uber. Even if you're getting one out of every 80 people, if it's good enough and it's done well enough, it's going to spread out, right? So Look.
This is a person I know. I won't say the person's name. I know this person. This person is a comic.
Do I know them?
What's her name? What's her name? No, I'm not going to even say anything. I'm just saying this person is a comic who is proudly announced that they're vaccinated right away. And, you know, if you don't do lockdown for 2 weeks back in June, you're killing grandma. So they're swallowing the mainstream agenda 100%, and they're calling themselves a comic. So this is a piece of their comedy. And I want to bounce it off you to see if you think it's funny, because that's the mindset that wrote this. Okay, so here we go. Which vaccine you get has got to be like the new horoscope sign. Moderna, they can be moody, but you'll never find a more loyal friend. Very creative. Pfizer BioNTech, shy, but don't cross them, love animals. Johnson & Johnson, pretend not to care what people think, but deep down are very sensitive, very athletic. And AstraZeneca, very talkative, but not great listeners. People are drawn to them. So they're taking a name of the vaccine and they're ascribing like bogus, the way you do when you read a newspaper version of the horoscope or something. And fucking tons of people clicking on that, like, laugh. That was so funny. And wow. I don't see it. Like I got nothing to say to people that would think that's funny, and I don't know what to do with that. Like it's how do you take a fucking dire situation of an experimental drug that's already caused a lot of problems, and you're setting it up like a dating site or something. And anyway, it just doesn't come together for me as a comic. I don't believe in it as a person who knows about it, any of the science in it. And I don't know how to appeal to anybody who has enjoyed that.
I would just rewrite the joke and actually put in the actual problems with, like AstraZeneca may have blood clots. Pfizer may have a skin peel.
That's exactly what I did. I rewrote the whole thing. I did a quick thing like that with all those heavy things. And then I'm going to drop it in there. And I thought, no, this isn't what that person wants to hear. They don't want to hear all that. They're just making jokes about, you know what I mean? So that's what I mean. So the person who got a bunch of laughs out of that, if I do what you suggest, and I did, and I put in the same things that you say, they're not going to laugh at that. They're just going to go, oh, please, come on. We're just trying to have fun here.
It's part of the division. If I use the Dolores Cannon example, is the different frequencies. There are people the people are going into the mainstream more, and then there's people like us that are going into, dare I say, a higher frequency, and it's people are believing the false reality that the mainstream's putting forward, and
it's so fake, though. God.
Oh yeah, I know. It's I mean, the sadistic side of me is like, well, that's part of the cult, because all those idiots will probably die quicker.
God, it's so creepy, honestly. So yeah, we have to do something else, is what it is. And I don't think it's opening up clubs. I don't think it's. I don't know what it is. But like, hey, I didn't know, like, in the 30s or whatever, when they were listening to Victrolas, I'm sure they didn't anticipate that there was going to be magnetic recording tape and then eventually CDs either. Like, things change, and we're sitting at a place right now where people need to hear funny things about their own life and stuff, but the means of it is going to have to change because these old systems don't work. I see someone here on the chat was also saying they went to a comedy show a couple months ago and how great it was to go and have a great time and have fun and laugh, which I can totally believe. I just can't see how it can be sustainable in that format. Again, if I go and set everything up here and I'm all set and booked and you guys are coming to my show and everything, and all of a sudden I got to cancel it. I got to cancel this weekend show. Well, what's that going to do to my rent in the play? I got to cancel the comics, because the government. So anybody setting up any kind of show like that is at the whim of the government just saying, no, you're not.
Well, it's any business. It's any business, not just comedy club. It's any.
No, I know. But we're talking about comedy and comedy clubs on this show. So I'm talking about it on this show.
The thing with comedy clubs, as I said, there always will be those people that will open a new one, or the old guys will come together and put a film together, it will survive, just like live music will survive. It's just going to take time. Restaurants will be recreated. There'll be enough people with, PhDs and doctorates who open restaurants. You hear stories like that all the time. Okay. Two guys with PhDs open a Greek restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Really common. Okay. Really common.
Massively
And then
changed.
you're going to see a tremendous resurgence of strip clubs.
Yeah.
Okay? Because strip clubs, you talking about comedy clubs that have been affected. Look what strip clubs have been done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what do they do?
All on
What do they do with the
all
strip
on
club? A
Island.
little bit. They take the mask off a little bit, show you a little bit of nose.
Exactly, a little bit of nose.
I can see her chin. I can see her chin. It's. I think the main thing is that we have to get past COVID/lockdown, because it's not sustainable for humanity to have this constant. Have you noticed, like, governments, like, they plan ahead? It leads towards the conspiracy of everything's just planned because, I think early April we'll have, it's around holidays. I get the feeling they want a revolution because they keep pissing off the general public. Where, how did you know 3 weeks ago that someone would get COVID and you would have to go into lockdown?
Yeah. That's
You have a yellow box?
That's
What's
a good
going
one,
on?
Monty. You're killing me. You're killing me.
Good. This is anti-comedy. It's still comedy.
Have you seen what's going on that lately that's really funny, though? Is the
Oh my God.
tell
There's
me.
no duality to comedy. I just had an epiphany. There's
What
no
is it?
duality. Comedy has no opposite. You only notice its absence.
Yeah, well, they always had tragedy posed against it.
No, that's horseshit. Tragedy is spiritual.
Well, that's
pornography.
CNN. Mind you, and also with tragedy, you can still laugh at tragedy.
I used to have a joke. That was one of my first jokes when I started years ago, whenever that was, 1990, where I said I'm a stand-up comedian. It's easier than being a stand-up tragedian. It's difficult. And then I did a whole thing on that. And then I said, oh, well, I guess there is no such thing. Oh, no, country music is stand-up tragedy, I guess. But that was basically a long time ago. Look at this guy. What's he? Post-pandemic, and I've never been busier. Yeah, this guy is really busy. He's been good at it since May. But I hadn't heard of him before that.
He's a master of YouTube comedy. He's got that dry, early John Cleese wit. That's pure Faulty Towers for the 21st century, man.
Well,
Had not heard of it before.
He did a bit on Costa Rica. It made national news. Half the country thought it was the funniest thing they've ever seen, and the other half was deeply offended.
That's good comedy.
Yeah,
that's good comedy. Yeah.
Just quickly, speaking of country and western music, in 5 to 10 years, we're going to have songs about truckers where their driverless trucks leave them.
Yes. I sit at home as my truck drives itself with my dog. My dog was so mad at me, it got in the truck and left. And now I'm here with no beer.
yeah.
My wife is gone and my truck is gone. Oh, woe is me.
Yeah. I like when it's a classic joke, but if you play country music songs backwards, you get the house back, you get your girlfriend back, you get your dog back.
Your truck works.
Yeah, and your truck's working perfectly. What? No, no. I was going to say,
But if you play heavy metal backwards, it's Satan, Satan, Satan.
Or, selling confectionery, like that whole Judas Priest thing, where look, if you play it backwards, it says "kill yourself," and they actually played it in the courtroom, and it basically sounded like, "Do you want a lollipop?"
Yeah, that's right. That was a great one. I remember that. That was because the kid took a gun and blew his head off.
Yeah, 2 of them, and one survived for a bit.
Yeah. So the mother sued. It's funny to watch that too. I just watched that last year. the trial was watching the singer sitting in the witness box.
Yeah, here in Australia, there was like a talk show, Peter Couchman, and he was doing like open forum with a lot of metalheads. And I remember one metalhead saying, "If you locked me in a room and played Madonna for 24 hours, I would probably kill myself."
Yeah, yeah.
And that was like 1989.
That's what they tell you. They shouldn't make a joke like that because someone might actually, it's like you have to run everything by everyone in the world to make sure no one's offended by it before you can put it out there. That's what some people literally want. That's what it feels.
Well, that's the ramp up with the division where everyone's offended or they can't deal with it, or because they're looking for racism or sexism or whatever.
Yes.
Huh?
Life and death.
Yeah,
That's the
they
razor's
look
edge
for it
that
if they
comedy.
find it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then the public narrative now has been raised. Everything's life and death, Antifa, BLM. It's right in the language. Black lives matter. It's very life and death in comedy. It's I think maybe that might be the only thing that cancels out comedy. They hit the exact right spot, the cerebellum there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You know, right between fight. They've got us right between fight, flight, and I don't know what the hell to do. I think I'm going to stand here and shit my pants.
Freeze. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember saying a joke. I remember saying it's a classic joke. You would have all heard it before. A fur seal walks into a club. It's like, oh, you can't do that. I'm not. It's a joke. I'm not saying actually go out and club a seal. What is wrong with you?
That's good. You're killing me, Monty. I was
Good.
gold.
So I want to
Bruce
thank
McDonald walks into a club.
Very sensitive issue with Canadians, the clubbing of baby seals, Monty. I can see how you Australians might be indifferent, but
well, all our animals want to kill us.
Massacre.
Yeah.
Imagine a kangaroo massacre, funny boy.
Well, actually, someone punched a kangaroo and got arrested for it. So, yeah, that's the other stupid way.
Alan, can you?
And then they put the video up
Alan,
on the internet, and I got caught. I don't know why. You put it on the fucking internet.
Alan, can you imagine 100 drunken newfies chasing kangaroos in the outback?
It would be something. Yeah, we'd love to see it.
You have to know you have to know who does the seal hunt to get the real comedy milk out of it.
Well, I'd like to see a seal fight a kangaroo.
I got one of it. It's the most unique English idiom on the planet now, the newfie idiom. It's almost as far out as the pikeys in Guy Ritchie's Snatch. It's the most unique English, and it's talk about funny. They just have to say, "Ma, where's the cheese?" and you're on the ground. You know.
Also, for those playing at home, do not attack a kangaroo. And the whole boxing kangaroo, that's a misnomer. Like, they haven't got the reach. They can rip your guts out with their claws on their feet because they go up on their tail and just eviscerate you straight away.
Wow. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Sir.
If you upset them.
I'll take it. Yeah, but they're
Apparently
friendly.
they taste nice as well. Australia is the only country in the world where we have an emu and a kangaroo on our national coat of arms, and we eat them.
Oh, I think Andrew has something to say.
Well, it's his show.
I do.
And what is it, Robert? As he prompts.
Oh, if you are listening on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, or anywhere else, and want to join the Zoom room, come to the Zoom room. Da-da-da.
This is it.
Did you know if you add New Zealand, that's the Five Eyes?
Yeah.
US, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and all of them. You don't spy on your own citizens. You get 4 other countries to do it for you.
Okay, let me just go right on that topic. Just, since you brought it up, that particular topic is something that I came across in the late 90s, and it really turbocharged my, conspiracy research, was the Five Eyes. But after understanding the principle of the Five Eyes, which, like you just summed up, they don't look at their own selves, they look at a different country. That's got to be done with by now. Like, don't tell me they've got some pretend thing.
Stronger than ever.
England
Stronger than ever.
They look at themselves. Come on, everybody looks at themselves. There's no way they're just like, okay.
Yeah, but hold on, you're missing the whole point. It's not whether they spy on us or not. It's what they can present in court now. They can present material obtained from one of the other 4 countries in a Canadian court.
Yeah, but it's so easy. If you found something as a Canadian spy listening to Canadians, and you found something and you couldn't bring that to court, you just phone up, any one of the other 4 countries and go, okay, here's a bunch of data.
Yeah.
Make it look like you found it, and here we go. Like, there's no way they're really the naivete. The naivete. I had a conversation with a guy last year, and he was a couple of years ago, actually, and he was telling me that he was looking forward to investing into cannabis once it goes legal, because once it goes legal, then the pharmaceutical companies will have access to it to be able to study it properly, to be able to make medicine out of it. And I said to the guy, well, they've already studied it. And he goes, no, they can't have, because it's been illegal up until this point. And I'm going, no, are you seriously telling me that you think that because cannabis is illegal, that these pharmaceutical companies haven't managed to obtain it at some point and check it along the way? It's because they've done that and understand how it works that they want to ban it to make sure that it isn't available for the opioid users and the everybody else. It's like, and he was just like, he wouldn't even budge on it. He's going, look, it's been illegal, therefore nobody's been able to test it. So, so we don't know what's going on with it until it's legalized. So he wanted it to be legal so they could test it. That's fucking so naive. I can't believe it.
To me, anyways, the people in the world have always seemed stupid, you know. But we're entering in a phase now that I call the triple D, where people are doubling down on dumb. And it's just completely out of control, man. Like, you just shake I can't even continue this conversation. I do not even see an opportunity to correct you if you're that far lost. I mean, I don't even know how you got dressed this morning. Do you brush your teeth?
Well, it's that thing, like, you know, I went through the phase of, you got to wake people up. That's disappeared now.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have, people have chosen what they want to do. And so we have to wait out the end of the third act, where, you know, if people wake up, it's their choice to wake up due to free will. I'm not going to go around. I try and, obviously Bruce will be pointing this out. I try and make people laugh that have woken up.
Yeah, it's got to be that. That's what I mean. You can't.
That's a good one, Monty. You're killing me.
You can't do the same jokes. It's different now, for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean,
exactly how it's going. But yeah, I'm sure of it.
Because can you imagine, like, the media and the comedian, comics, and most of the general public, the way they dumped on Trump, and it doesn't matter if it was worth it or not, and if he deserved it. But the whole switch now with Biden, where it's just gone back to boring when Obama was in, where apparently when President Obama was in the White House, comedians couldn't find anything funny about him, which that's not even funny.
That's amazing, right?
He could do stuff because, like, I mean, one thing I noticed, like, he could only read a teleprompter, and it looked like he was watching tennis. He would read one sentence on that one and then go back, and it's like, is there a tennis match going on at the press conference? What's going on here?
He doubled down on dumb, Monty. The president himself has doubled down on dumb, and so did Trump in a lot of ways. He doubled down on dumb with his ego and not, you know, ignoring the petty stuff and getting involved with everything, right? So it's just that's the motif these days. Double down on dumb.
Yeah,
you know.
I did while watching the press.
Supersize it, Monty. Supersize your stupidity.
Right.
I like the interesting. This is from CNN, so you know it's news. The first news conference in 65 days. I'm like, that's not really something you want to promote. It took 65 days for Biden to talk to the press corps and do questions and answers. And it's like, isn't he supposed to be the leader of the free world? Why it's not where we go to grandpa and, like, don't bring up the war, which is understandable. But if this man is supposed to be the leader of the free world and he's going to save America and everything else like that, he mentioned vaccines. It went for an hour. He mentioned vaccines once, and they didn't talk about COVID at all.
Like, yeah, I know. Amazing.
What?
Did you see the thing with Ted Cruz? I thought that was funny. Ted Cruz is at something, and he's got his whole bunch of people behind him. You know how they always do that.
Oh, yeah, he went down to the border. Yeah, went down to the border, and this Democrat just stood in front of his camera all the time.
No, not that. Yeah, there was that one, but there was this other one where he's standing there, like not at the border, but he's got 5 or 6 guys behind him. They're all masked. He goes to the microphone. He's not masked. And guy, and the guy for the microphone, the media says, do you mind putting a mask on, please? And he goes, no, I'm not going to put a mask on. I'm going to talk on television right now. And, you know, we've all been vaccinated. The whole point of the vaccine. So from what you could gather is everyone in this picture has been vaccinated. The guys on camera, Ted Cruz, the guy asking questions, everybody, they've all been vaccinated. They're all masked except for Ted, and this guy is nervous about it. So Cruz tells, if you're nervous, just stay back. You know, like,
and
like
the Cruz,
though, like how fucked are people going to be? You got a vaccine, you got a mask, and they're still paranoid. Like,
and Cruz actually nailed him to a tree by going, "We're following CDC orders or whatever the word was," and he's basically shut him down completely. "Can you wear a mask?" "Well, no, we're vaccinated and we're following CDC guidelines." And he went straight back into it. It was like,
what does the guy say? Well, what does the guy say? It'll make us all feel better. Fucking, that is exactly what so much of this is. This is like you're a little bit.
I think that was a political setup by him. Absolutely a political setup. That wasn't natural or organic.
You don't think so?
No,
people
I don't
are
think
saying
it.
that. People are saying, "Oh, it would
I think Ted Cruz is playing on something he knows well: fear."
Yeah.
Okay, I give you that, but there are people that will say, and that's what it was for. That's what the mask thing became.
Ted's been raped over the coals by Trump over the last 4 years. He needs some wins.
It's true, but fuck Ted though. Like, I mean, the point I'm trying to say is like the mask thing is like people were wearing those, and there was a time when they were saying it's to make people feel better. It's to diminish the panic of like, oh, there's a fucking crazy virus. Well, as long as you got a mask on, that's okay. And there was a moment where we got to the place where the science was showing it's not about the science, it's about the feelings of the other people. That's what they're all about. That's what it's all about. It's
and people are waking up because the latest thing now is like, even if you get vaccinated, have the double shot, the booster, you still have to social distance and wear the mask, which brings up the question, what's the fucking vaccine for then?
The vaccine is for to diminish the disease's ravages upon you if you get the disease, but people don't even know that, and I don't even believe that that's true, and I don't even think they can show that that's true. But that's what they're saying. They're saying it'll diminish.
So it'll give you a chance to fight off the virus, so it doesn't get to the super serious stage.
Yeah, just like everybody else that did it last year, like Trump, like Boris Johnson, like everybody that said they got it before the vaccine was out, like Chris Cuomo, like all those people. Like ivermectin doesn't exist, like hydroxychloroquine. Like, it's amazing. You know, they just waited to a certain point. Like these same people that were panicking last year, why weren't they trying ivermectin and all these things? Why were they thinking a magical juice?
Because they would discover that the majority of the common sicknesses out there can be healed by natural means, and you don't need pharmaceutical companies.
They'll fuck up the economy. People will lose money. What's wrong with you?
Right.
It's all about the money.
Oh, well, pharmaceutical.
Welcome to planet Earth. Profit versus humanity. And you know who should win.
Yeah, really, at the end of the day, you know, you're all complicit if you stay in that system, because it's a system based on undercutting everybody, right? So everybody is going to go. Everybody says, "Oh, I don't buy. I support this. I support bullshit." You're at Costco buying the GMO meat and everything. I mean, it is what it is, and it's a slippery slope, man. And it's going to turn around when people start forming meaningful, intentional communities with practical and disciplined people who can make things happen, in my opinion. Right.
I just had a thought that we had a win this week. You're familiar with Bill Gates? You've heard of him?
Yeah. That's the best line of the comedy show, Monty. You're killing it.
He had an idea of putting chalk or something into the atmosphere to dim the sun. And I think it was Switzerland scientists, the group that were doing it, they discovered it was 50-50, where the scientists were like, 50 were for it and 50 were against it, so they've cancelled that. So Dr. Gates, because he thinks he's a doctor, how cute, he can't do his Montgomery Burns impersonation by blocking out the sun.
They're not going to have that. So, that's interesting. I didn't hear that. It's not going to work. They're not going to do it.
Yeah, half the scientists have gone, what are you, nuts? Like, so.
Yeah. I don't understand how he could even propose that. That was proposed. He proposed that in 2018.
Yeah, he proposes a lot of things, like, and the media just laps it up. I mean, in one day there was 5 articles about Bill Gates that are all completely different. And one of them was, what's Bill Gates' Spotify playlist? And I'm like, why do I fucking care?
Yeah.
Right, but again, that's all media brand management. And there's so many videos that he puts out where he's got 4,000 or 5,000 likes and like 85, 90,000, 100,000 dislikes. Okay. He feels that shit. Yeah, that shit stings. Okay.
Well, you heard what YouTube's doing? They're testing the to remove the dislike button, and apparently now I don't know if it's backed up with facts and truth, but the Biden administration asked YouTube to get rid of it because every time that Joe would do a video, apart from 400 people watching it, there's like 10,000 downvotes.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
And what that is people that go in, watch 1 second, downvote, and leave. Okay? YouTube is pure play to pay to play, and Biden is paying to play, and he's like, make it fair on me. And YouTube's going, I can't do this, and I can manipulate these numbers because I do it for everyone else. What else should I charge Biden for? And Biden's like, you ain't charging me anymore. That's what's going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that would happen. All those downvotes that you're saying, those 10,000 thumbs down would happen really to the guy who really got more votes than Obama.
Yeah, the most popular president, apparently the most popular president in history to hate.
When you learn about how YouTube actually works, and you'll learn about botted computers, hacked computers, or hacked routers, there are these people out there that hack 200, 300,000 routers, not your computer, your router, and make a fake machine on the surface of their computer, so they can have hundreds of virtual machines or hundreds of thousands of virtual machines running, and they can go and put 100,000 downloads or upvotes on anything, and you can pay for that. Okay.
Yeah.
The way YouTube videos works is that YouTube ads, it's the same concept, except you're just paying for it.
Yeah.
You can target whatever you want all throughout the entire Google networks.
Twitter followers, same thing, right? They had the fake Twitter followers you could buy.
Correct.
Well,
but Twitter never amounted to anything other than a bunch of people arguing.
Yeah,
it's fun. I actually uploaded some Dominion software on my Twitter account. I have 70 million followers now.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're at the end of the show. We've been going for 2.5 hours already. Monty, you want to give a way for people to get a hold of you?
I can be found on YouTube and Odyssey at Wafer Thin Entertainment, on Facebook as just Monty Dean, on Twitter if you want to go into that hellscape. It is fun if you know what you're doing, at Real Monty Dean, on Instagram, Monty.Dean, and later this evening I'll be seen at a pizza store picking up dinner.
Wonderful. All right, guys, you know who I am. We will be back in 2 weeks with another Friday comedy show. We'll be back this coming Tuesday with a post-birthday coming back to the show. All right, everyone. Great show. We'll be back again. Take us away, Robert.